right, guys. Welcome to the Get Bit Podcast, the podcast for nerds, for blurs. If you have a fandom, you are most certainly welcome here. I'm your host of the most, Will Buchanan, also known as Black Spartan. Of course, the man to my left, you're right. And I just read what he had at the bottom. Go ahead, sir.
And for $5, I'll be Joe Tonello.
Together, we are the Get Bit Podcast, and much like the WWE old guys, we do have choice language on here. We don't cuss, but we do have choice language. At the same time, there'll be things that might be shown that might be too intense for younger viewers, so viewer discretion is advised. Aside from that, welcome. So, how do we actually start this? Because we are in the middle of, I like to call it a nice time before the desert shows up, but we'll get to that part of why I call it the desert. But we got to start with this trailer.
I know how we start.
Oh, how we start?
We start by reminding everybody that we do have a podcast format where you can listen on Spotify, Stitcher for however long that's open, Amazon Music, and Google Podcast.
Yep, wherever podcasts can be heard or seen, especially on Opulence Radio and Always Record TV as well.
Except for Apple Music, because I'm not paying for that.
Nobody wants to pay for Apple Music, but anyway, unless they sponsor us. But no. If they sponsor us, then at that point we'll sell water. We'll sell water to anybody. But
I draw the line of doing For Hims, manscaping For Hims commercials. We're not 100% a wrestling podcast.
I mean, depends on the jet.
No.
I mean,
I draw the line of the line. Let me put it this way: I draw the line, and the line is down there.
That being said, guys, we want to start with some trailers. This one I have yet to see. Basically, it is about it's basically called Wonka. It is about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I have yet to see this trailer. So, Joe, have you seen before we give any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I took a look at it. Once again, Hugh Grant doing things I don't expect Hugh Grant to do, but here we are.
That's... Okay, let's just play the trailer and find out.
Roll the clip.
I was going to say that. I don't know how to take that, but here it is. Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, basically called Wonka.
I've spent the past 7 years traveling the world perfecting my craft. You see, I'm something of a magician, inventor, and chocolate maker. So quiet up and listen down. Nope, scratch that. Reverse it.
Mr. Wonka, I can see you're a man of great ingenuity.
What are you doing?
I'm making chocolate, of course. How do you like it? Dark, white, nutty, absolutely insane.
Many people have come here to sell chocolate. They've all been crushed by the chocolate cartel. You can't get a shop without selling chocolate, and you can't sell chocolate without a shop.
No daydreaming.
What are we gonna do, Willie?
Huh.
Huh?
Huh.
A double huh?
Do you have a pencil and paper?
Uh-huh.
I got an idea. I know things haven't been easy for you. They're gonna get better.
You promise?
I pinky promise. That's the most solemn vow there is.
Where do we start?
A good chocolate chip is simple.
Where's this? It's just weird.
What's happening? Who wants a chocolate that makes you fly?
Let's find out, shall we?
Who's for a job? Nothing to see here. Just a small group of people defying the laws of gravity.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Gallery Gourmet, my name is Willy Wonka.
He's good. Too good.
Pretty sure I've gained about 150 pounds in the last 2 weeks.
You could change her life, Mr. Wonka. Change all their lives.
Run away!
Every good thing in this world started with a dream. So you hold on to yours.
Here we go, Mama.
Mark my words, this is gonna be the greatest chocolate shop the world has ever seen.
So you're the funny little man who's been following me.
I will have you know that I am a perfectly respectable size for an Oompa Loompa.
An Oompa what now?
Allow me to refresh your memory.
Oh, I don't think I want to hear that.
Too late. I've started dancing now. Once we've started, we can't stop.
I'm not against this. That was Wonka. And that's going to be out in cinemas December the 15th. And let me fix that because we're really zoomed in on each other. So that's going to come out December the 15th. You know, at first I was like, okay, I guess this is telling Wonka's beginnings. But you know what? I'd watch it. I'd watch it because it's different. I mean, don't get me wrong. Johnny Depp and I can't think of his name to save my life right now, and that's gonna kick. And Gene Wilder's, thank you, Joe. Gene Wilder's renditions of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, love them both. What Timothy, forgive me if I mispronounce his last name, Chafet, does with this, I'm curious. I thought I was gonna be against it, but really I'm intrigued to see what they go with it. But yeah, what's your thoughts on that, Joe?
Well, I'm not exactly clamoring for a Willy Wonka origin story. This does pique my interest because this is from the director of Paddington, and both Paddington Bears were both consistently good. I say this as a 40-year-old man, but I grew up with Paddington Bear on the Disney Channel most of my childhood, as did you probably.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that could make this consistently better is if this was done by the Muppets, with Gonzo being Willy Wonka. And instead of Oompa Loompas, we had Waka Wakas with Fozzie being every Oompa Loompa. I guess that would make Piggy Veruca, and I guess they could no, I can't see Janice as Violet. Maybe get Skeeter from Muppet Babies, make her an adult, make her thing. But anyways, to the actual point, as I'm just Muppet fan casting.
You literally just did a Muppet fan cast for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but go ahead.
Would Statler and Waldorf be Uncle Joe and the other grandpa?
No, it's got to be the two grumpy old guys. It's got to be the two grumpy old guys.
No, there are no two grumpy old guys. There's the grandpas. And then the one guy who you think is a bad guy, but he's actually a really good guy. At the very end, the one who you think is the Wonka is the spy for the rival chocolate thing.
Oh yeah. I can see that.
Chocolate Cartel. Why has that not been a tag team at this point?
Little on the nose, maybe.
No, that's the new name for the Hurt Locker from now
Actually,
on.
you know what the funny part is? I mean, there was sexual chocolate, but that was kind of during the Attitude Era. I don't think we can go back to that. Not to that anyway.
So, anyways, back to the Wonka thing, not the fan casting thing. Although Gonzo would be the perfect Willy Wonka. No, I'm down for it. It's just, I said, I don't know if anybody actually asking for a origin story for Willy Wonka. I kind of like that he's this eccentric inventor or eccentric chocolatier that just kind of came into existence like a hurricane and then just bows out.
Yeah, but I mean, it's that's what I like. That's what's so intriguing about this is that it's freaking different, and it's not a retell. And again, I'm not trying to make fun of retelling of stories. It's just that whenever you hear a retelling of a story, you're immediately thinking that okay, there's nothing new about this. There's no direction, but this really does have a different direction, and I dig it really. But I don't know. But come December 15th, I know I'm definitely checking it out. Joe, will you be giving it a shot come winter?
Does that mean Kermit's going to be Uncle Joe?
Nah, Kermit would have to be.
Kermit can't be Charlie or Willy Wonka.
Well, if he's a central figurehead, then I guess he would have to be Joe. He'd have to be, because we're stuck on this podcast.
It would either be Robin or Walter would be Charlie.
We're going to come back to this Muppet casting at some other point in time because that's going to be interesting. But speaking of castings, guys, James Gunn, this guy is, I keep on saying, and I've said this on another podcast, I'll say it here, in Gunn we trust, because he is making quite the waves, especially with the Superman Legacy casting. But go ahead, Joe.
So before we go into the casting and whatnot, I want to point out that he has recently posted out a picture of The Terrifics, which was a book that is using the majority of these characters. So I'm not saying The Terrifics is definitely going to happen, but a lot of this casting is either Justice League Europe, Justice League International, or The Terrifics. We are getting really close to the fact. I'm just thinking James Gunn is going to be the blah-ha-ha era of DC movies.
I'm not
So
against
that
it.
makes me wonder, how much head trauma can Nathan Fillion endure?
Well, that's the thing I'm getting to. But first, yeah, like I said, going into the castings things here. So we do want to start with this one at first because we started off with this because this got announced first. James Gunn Superman Legacy did give us several castings. This one first here. Hawk Girl, who will actually be excuse me. Hot Girl, again, Kendra Saunders. This lady right here, I forgot her name already. Oh, Sierra, I'm sorry. If I mispronounced your name, I certainly apologize. Sierra Renee will be playing Kendra Saunders, aka Hawk Girl. Of course, this man here, which I am really, really, really freaking happy about, because we are getting introduced to Mr. Terrific. My God, I cannot, above all else, be so effing happy that Mr. Terrific is finally going to be seen. Of course, in his case, I forgot this man. I am having a mind wipe out at the moment.
They're all up top.
Say it one more time.
They're all up top.
I know, it's terrible, isn't it? It's terrible that I literally read.
He's looking at thing. This gentleman was he's looking at the name. This gentleman we've seen before in comic book movies. Mm-hmm. He was the actor who played Darwin in First Class, to which I hope they treat him better than what they did in X-Men First Class.
That was Bryan Singer's problem.
How are you going to kill the man that can evolve anything? This man has evolved to the point where he can't be killed.
Yeah, his literal power is he can survive anything, and yet you turn him into a statue. But anyway, I am happy about Mr. Terrific because I have been.
What's the actor's name?
Oh, the actor's name for that guy, and Michael Holt. That's what I wanted to say. Michael Holt was what I was looking for.
No, that's not the actor. That's actually Mr. Terrific.
You know, this is terrible.
It's Eddie Gathagi.
Yeah, that's the name I was looking for.
Eddie Gathagi.
Yeah, because his name is a little hard to pronounce. But you're right, phenomenal actor, and forgive us for destroying your name. But yes, I'm happy about the fact that number one, it's Mr. Terrific. I have been saying this whole entire time that there are other heroes in DC that need to have the light shine upon them. Mr. Terrific honestly is a level, and I'm a Batman fan, and I have no problem admitting this. Mr. Terrific is a level that is higher than Batman. I mean, his deductive intelligence is higher than Batman. The man literally has tech that would almost rival Cyborg. At the same time, his martial arts level skill is either on par or above Batman. And I am just effing happy we're finally going to get to see him. Now,
it's too bad his one weakness is Linda Park.
Ain't that the truth? Now, the third one, of course, the third casting of all this, again, man, we got one more after this. Of course, Nathan Fillion, who we always said should have been casted. I saw him more as a Hal. I saw more as a Hal Jordan. However, in this case, he has been casted as Guy Gardner, the Green Lantern, and the Superman Legacy series. I'll be honest, it wasn't my first choice, but again, I understand the direction they're going with this because of Superman Legacy and because they're trying to give it a different direction. I can see why Guy Gardner may have been the better choice for Fillion, although in my mind, he'll still be Hal Jordan. But what do you think about that, Joe?
Okay, so here's how I look at this. He is Hal Jordan in several animated series, and I think Firefly aged around the time he was shooting Firefly. Nathan Fillion was perfect for Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
Now he is perfect for Guy Gardner because he's got that wit. He can be angry. He can be goofy. He can be silly. He can be definitely chauvinistic. And we're going to be getting multiple haircuts, according to James Gunn. So we're getting the bowl haircut, the fade, the flat top.
And all that makes logical sense. I never liked Guy Gardner. He was probably my least favorite Lantern. That might be why I have such bias against him. Go ahead.
So again, you still need to read Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps. That'll give you a lot of love for, and just flat out Green Lantern Corps, that'll give you a lot of love for Guy Gardner. It was the same for me until I read it. So the other reason why he's better at Guy Gardner is because Nathan Fillion's a very diverse actor. Hal Jordan, and this is not me being petty this time, this is me just stating an obvious fact. Hal Jordan is a very one-note character. He is Daredevil Flyboy.
Damn.
You get no, I mean that's just how it is in the comic. I mean they don't change it. It works. The formula works for him.
Okay.
It worked for me because again I see that as zero growth because you never changed the character in over several decades. Why this works is because Nathan Fillion has such a broad acting range, is because Guy Gardner has a broad range of emotions, mostly because of severe head trauma. That man is, you look into this man's history, he has a hint of multiple personality disorder, which are all Guy Gardner, but they're all varied facets of Guy Gardner. You have the egotist, you have the chauvinist, you have the kindly one, because a lot of people don't know because they only focus on the egotist and the arrogant Guy Gardner. Guy Gardner is a wonderful human being whose day job was a child social worker, a gym teacher in college and high school. The man had a terrible life of just getting repeatedly injured over and over and over again, tortured in the Phantom Zone for years. As soon as he escapes, he's hit by a bus and immediately put into a coma. Hal Jordan steals his fiancée from Guy Gardner while Guy Gardner's in a coma. The on-again, off-again relationship with Ice, where we do see, yes, he's very chauvinistic at times, but at the same time, if you see the on-again, off-again relationship with Ice, you see sides of Guy that you just don't get to see. You get to see Guy the soldier during the Green Lantern Corps and his sheer love of both being a lantern, the fraternity with the other lantern members. He was one of the first people to dual wield a ring because when Kyle died in Blackest Night, he raged so much. He got a Red Lantern ring, but was so forceful in his will, he got to dual wield both rings. So Guy is a multifaceted character the longer you read him.
Logical
feeling is good.
Logical points, but I'm still gonna be petty, so I don't like him. But it's just me. I'm just being petty.
No, I understand. But like
petty.
that's why I think they chose Nathan, is because Nathan can be that multifaceted.
Yeah.
Because you need a multifaceted person for Guy because of just that broad range of emotion that Guy can go through.
Yeah, and for the period of where I guess for the period of where Gunn is aiming for. That's why I was like, I was hesitant, but I'm like, well, if you think about the period he's going to be in, who they're bringing along, and how he's trying to shape it, yeah, Guy Gardner is the more logical choice. So
I can almost, and I'm not going to say guaranteed, but I can almost bet we're a month or two away of Fire and Ice being casted.
Well, you put that down the date and time on the podcast, so we can sit there and come back and see if you call
I get more hits than I do misses when I say this stuff. So
fair enough. But also the other casting we did want to talk about, guys. This one I'm actually very, very fond of, and I did not see this coming. This character here, Anthony Kerrigan, as I bring him up in the Superman Legacy. Now, if you don't know who this man is, you've probably seen him. You may not know his name, but I guarantee you've seen him in at least a movie or television show. I know for me, it was Barry. He played a hell of a role in the HBO series Barry. He's been in multiple movies. He's also been in other superhero movies. But now he's being casted as Metamorpho. I think it's great that he'll be able to do this. But Joe, any thoughts on that?
You know, I can also see him casted as Deadman.
Yeah, he can do Deadman too.
Oh yeah. No, I do. I'm sure I have seen him in things, but I mean, aside from this looking like a spot-on, great-looking Lex Luthor profile shot,
man,
I look forward to seeing him as Metamorpho.
Yeah, and also I have to give Joe credit on this as well because he beat me to the punch because we're seeing Metamorpho, we're seeing Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, You called a very specific Superman arc that didn't dawn on me until you said it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to refresh me. It's been a hell of a week.
Farewell, Call to Arms.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Like at this point, Superman Legacy is just going to be a call to arms to all superheroes because there's too many. So this is either a montage of heroes coming out of retirement or heroes stepping out of the shadows. Because if this is just for one movie, I can't even imagine what everything is going to be down the road. I mean, even if it's just like zoom into like, I don't know, a $20 motel and we see Guy putting on boots and grabbing a ring as he leaves the door and it's Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, but it's going to be interesting. But so far, the legacy castings look completely awesome. Again, I am trusting in Gunn to right the ship, especially when it comes to DC Studios. I know more castings will come out. However, with the strikes that are going on with the writers, now the actors, because the actors have just authorized a strike that goes into effect. Actually, I think it goes into effect now. Because there were those at from what I was told, from what I was reading on, those during the Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, when the strike became effective, they got up and left. Which at that point they're part of a union. So if the union strikes, they all walk out. So writers and actors right now, and I will say this before we go on to the next casting news that we have. What's really low down, and I want Joe to give you, Joe, I want you to give your opinion on this as well, because technically one of the CEOs, Bob Iger, had came out and said, and he was like, the reason he's like, there's too much Marvel content out there, which lessens the value. And at the same time, he sat there and said that these writers want more money. And that seems unrealistic. This is coming from a billionaire CEO that just signed a contract to stay with Disney through 2026, and is now saying that it's too expensive to pay the writers what they're worth. Now, keep in mind, guys, enjoy this little ride that we're on right now, because without writers and without actors, we're not getting any new content. Somehow, Deadpool 3 is still rolling forward. I don't know how they
it halted production today.
Oh, it did halt. So my apologies. Deadpool 3 halted today because at first Deadpool 3 was still filming. So Deadpool 3 halted. So, and of course, this is the part where I tell everybody, get used to reruns, because they're not moving forward until writers get paid. And writers are being treated like the essential workers of media. I mean, they're the ones that run our shows, run our movies, run our cartoons, things of that nature. And you have a CEO whose opinion could shift and end these strikes, decides to sit there and say, no, it's unrealistic. At the same time, it was said that they will wait until these writers and actors go broke. So they didn't say who said it. They just said that a certain top-level executive said it. So Joe, I mean, thinking about this, are we getting prepared for the desert that's coming? Or do you think that somebody's going to cave?
So the reason why the Screen Actors Guild joined them recently also came out is recently said that studios are wanting to use AI to scan extras in a crowd, pay them for their work for that day, then use the scans to put them in other things perpetually without needing their consent or paying them for their likeness.
Yeah, that was the other thing too.
I actually discussed this with a friend last night, and we both came to the conclusion that's very creepy.
Mm-hmm.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
And that's also kind of what George Lucas did with Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill, and they don't see a cent every time their likeness is used in a video game or the cover of a Star Wars novel or anything else, which is why you don't see them with the Star Wars animated stuff, because they I still think they don't own their likeness, but I think that may be a little
It's a gray area.
Disney, since Disney bought them, but the original thing was
Mhm.
George Lucas owns their likeness to use as he sees fit.
Yeah.
Which is why they're on almost every cover in every Star Wars novel there ever was until Disney bought it.
Mhm.
But stuff like that is the reason why actors like, no, I'm not doing this. So what that means is they cannot do press junkets.
Right.
They cannot promote any upcoming projects.
Right.
They can go to con circuits to supplement their income now.
Right.
So Comic-Cons are about to get really fun with as many actors as they can. However, they cannot discuss any future projects.
Right.
They can discuss current projects, but they cannot promote anything. So it's about to be a very interesting landscape.
Oh, it's about to be lost. Literally, it's about to be Lost and Heroes. Two shows that were victims of strikes because those shows never recovered. But yeah, it's like I said, guys, it's gonna be a long time, a drought, because you have companies out there making billions, buku bucks, and believe that writers don't deserve to get paid more, or get dividends or royalties off streams. And it's going to be interesting now because the Directors Guild got a brand new contract in a matter of days, because now writers and now actors are about to be in battle with these studios. You may not see things for a very long time, which kind of dampens the next thing I was going to talk about, because we honestly did start this week off great. Ryan Reynolds really gave us another gem. At first, people thought that this was photoshopped, until Mr. Deadpool himself put it out there for the world to see. I am talking about Hugh Jackman reprising his role as Wolverine, but he is in, how can you say, accurate, basically back in the yellow and blue of the original X-Men color. Now, these are just a few pictures here. Of course, these are action stills that you see, of course, Deadpool in a more redder version of his outfit. Of course, we see Hugh Jackman with Wolverine, with the cut, with the beard, and it looks beautiful. It looks great. There are no issues. However, I am starting to think, and I want to bring you up on this one, because I go back to this picture because you would honestly think that we as fans of comic book fandom, of movies and things of that nature, that we kept on saying that I wish they would get Wolverine right. We saw X-Men Origins Wolverine. We saw the Wolverine. We saw Logan. And we are now getting an accurate depiction of the Wolverine we always wanted. But there are people out there who were mad about sleeves. And this is why I say there are just some comic book fans out there that'll never be pleased, because the first thing they pointed out, not the fact that they got the accents down, not the fact that he's got the gloves, the boots, the movements down. They got about the sleeves. Wolverine doesn't have sleeves. Not forgetting the fact that Hugh Jackman actually has a very rare skin condition, in which the man cannot be out in the sun without actually getting damage to his skin. He has melanoma. So hence the sleeves. I could care less about Wolverine being sleeveless or not sleeve. I do care about the well-being of a human being. And honestly, Wolverine being sleeved doesn't bother me, because we're getting exactly what we asked for. But there are just some folks out there that I'll just never be happy. But Joe, you've seen the pictures. What do you think?
Let's not forget, we're also getting this the third nerd rage. Why isn't he in his brown suit?
Right.
His yellow and blue suit was the first suit. Shut up. I don't like this at all. I'm sorry he has Conan O'Brienism.
Mm-hmm.
Where if he goes out in the sun too long, he immediately bursts into flames. Which, by the way, Google, if you want to see what I'm talking about, Google Conan O'Brien writer's strike. You get to see what he looks like from being in the sun too long from the picket line. That man looks redder than a beet and hotter than a thing of grilled cheese.
Yeah.
That analogy is also poor, and I apologize.
But at the same time, I mean, the man was out there with everyone else risking his health. And that's the part where I'm just trying to explain to people. It's like, when I was explaining to when I was talking to someone else, it's like your gripe is that he's not sleeveless. This is why I know, and this is why I sit there and say, as much as we love and defend our comics, there are just some people out there that just will never be happy.
Now the other thing that people are upset about is he doesn't have the mask. Guys, unless you're Ryan Reynolds and devote yourself to the character, to the epitome of Ryan Reynolds, the face is the money seller, so you're always going to have your actor with the mask off as much as possible.
Yeah.
That's why in your Spider-Man movies, you mostly see Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland without the mask until the last 20 minutes of the movie. Even though I think this picture we're looking at right now is probably just another scene from Logan.
Yeah.
And not him behind the scenes doing stuff, although that's an awesome backbreaker. But and I know he's being stabbed in the forehead on that one. I can see that right now. And he's stabbing him in the butt, or he's getting ready to do the bodyguard lift up, one of the two.
Yeah.
We also see that I did not give Will this picture. They are looking. There is a scene where they are in front of a collapsed 20th Century Fox stone sign.
I meant to grab that. Dang it. I meant to grab that.
Like I said, I'm really digging this. I love this to death. I love that we're getting a comic accurate costume. I know we're not getting the mask. I'm sure we'll get the mask for maybe either the first 30 minutes of him putting this thing on or the last bit of it of him dealing with it. We're also getting really weird, trust me, bro, confirmations of Jean Grey fighting Scarlet Witch. That's not happening.
Right.
And other goofy things like that. Also, breaking on that one, they just literally announced 9 hours ago Deadpool 3, Mission Impossible 8, and Venom 3 have all halted production due to writer's strike. Trying to see who else. Trying to see who else just... Yeah, that's a day ago.
I'd have to think almost every movie in production has probably hit the brakes by now.
Oppenheimer's New York red carpet has been canceled amid the strike. So Oppenheimer's premiere is done. So pretty much the last movie premiere that we are seeing before the strike on was Barbie. That's it.
Yeah. And again, this is why I keep saying that the reason and the reason why we're talking about this, not only because this affects our movies and possibly comics going forward, this also will probably affect video games as well, which is kind of a segue. Hang on, because the reason why I say that is because here's the thing I keep pointing out, that Sega of America has unionized. Now, keep in mind, Sega of America, not Sega of Japan, because that's where the major headquarters are. But Sega workers, again, were striking, which I did not know about this until earlier this Monday, that there was Sega workers in America that were planning to unionize. And of course, like most corporations, they say that they're not, they say that unions are welcome, but on the backside, they choose to attack those who are trying to plan unions. But this election actually took place on July 10th. With 91 to 26 voting. 91, of course, voted yes, 26 voted no, which means that now Sega has joined, Sega of America has joined the union workers, which again, I am not against that. I'm a big fan of unions. You should always join a union if it's available in your area, because they will represent your best interest at heart. But the reason why I point this out is because keep in mind when I talk about the strikes going on with actors and writers, I honestly believe that video games are next. Only because, and me and Joe have talked about this in various other companies. We talked about this with EA. We talked about this with Microsoft, which is currently they won their FTC case here in the U.S. to acquire Activision.
Haven't
But
won
now-
the CMA case in Britain.
Yeah, the big one, the big one is still going on in Britain. That's still going on. But keep in mind, guys, those who are programmers, designers, VFX artists, voice actors, that's the big thing. Voice actors, because a lot of our games these days are driven by voice acting. Those very same voice actors are part of a certain group that's currently on strike right now. So again, if you don't think this affects your video games, it will.
So I know this would directly affect Metal Gear Solid 3 because David Hayter is probably part of the writing guild.
Mm-hmm. It'll affect that too. So this is the reason why I keep pointing this out, that what's going on right now, there is kind of a labor strike wave that's going through the US right now, but it's not just affecting movies, it's not just affecting comics, this will affect video games too. That's just the next domino to fall. So I am happy that those Sega workers were able to unionize. That is a great thing. The only thing I'm worried about is just that getting people prepared for a very long time in the desert, because the powers that be that could end all this choose to sit there and starve people out until they can't anymore. But Joe, before we move on to the next trailer, any other thing you want to add to that?
Yeah, so this is already affecting Comic-Con. So San Diego Comic-Con, biggest con there is. Con I wish to attend, but honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I may want to go to New York Comic-Con more. That's just me. So this week, because of the announcements, many things are being pulled out of it. Actors are now confirmed to be out for the count. Convention lineups are taking another hit because panels are now officially canceled, including Doom 2, Amazon's Wheel of Time, Freevy's Jury Duty, ABC's Abbott Elementary. OH will not be holding both DC and Marvel. Now, Marvel has stopped going to Hall H or San Diego Comic-Con because they figured out the same thing E3 did. We're just going to do our stuff at D23 and save a crap ton of money.
Pretty much.
So, but DC is out for the count, not exactly for the writer's strike, but because James Gunn just flat out said, we don't have anything to show. I mean, the most thing.
DC fan base still learned a lesson from that, but go ahead.
Yep. Like James Gunn just flat out says, like, well, we got nothing to show. So there's that. Other some presentations that will be going on, but will not be including actors, is TMNT Mayhem, which will feature a presentation with the director of Jeff Rowe. Oscar-winning success of RRR. Next Project K will be at Hall H, and various other things. There'll be some Star Trek, but no actors, just what is it here? This reads super weirdly. No actors, but they will still be celebrating Star Trek. The animated series will celebrate its 50th anniversary.
Well, that's going to be so. That's going to be so off, though, because again, this is what happens when you take the actors out of it. But it's like you don't jump out you don't just jump out of a burning plane. You decide you still want to fly it while it's on fire.
Yeah, like there's a whole lot of other stuff. Like FX wants to promote things, but they got their What We'll Do in Shadows, but actors won't show for that. Well, I don't know if not all the actors will show up for that, because I don't know how some of the New Zealand actors work in the Hollywood film industry. That one's a little iffy.
That's a little iffy.
This is purely on my speculative part. I don't know if like Jermaine Clement is like part of the.
I would like to think that they would join in solidarity. I mean, like you said, when it comes to overseas, their contracts are way different. So.
Anthony Mackie's, they are now actually saying that Twisted Metal is now considered an action comedy series. I have initially not cared now.
You know what? You have to, okay, because I did want to show the trailer for Twisted Metal, but that's coming up. But
The John Wick series, the Continental will be there. They did say they were going to have Rick and Morty stuff, but not because of Screen Actors Guild. The fact that no one wants Justin Roiland in a 50-foot radius of anybody is why they won't be appearing. Oh, and also the Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah, but damn.
So Comic-Cons right now, well, at least San Diego Comic-Con is irreparably changed and has taken a tremendous hit.
Yeah.
New York Comic-Con, I don't think is going to be taking that big a hit because New York Comic-Con is more actually about comic and artists.
Yeah.
I think.
That's what the majority of it is, yeah.
There is some television announcements, but even then that's more comic related or geek related than broadstream media. But I think New York Comic Con may be a little bit more different, but definitely like San Diego Comic Con has taken the biggest hit it has possibly could and has gone back to almost its version of itself in the 80s and 90s before this became a mainstream thing.
Yeah. But you got a point though. Cons are going to be affected. I know for the major cons, because what's going to wind up happening is, and this is just a spitball guess on my part before we move on to the next trailer. Smaller cons are going to become more popular. Like you said, these actors, these celebrities, they'll go wherever the money and the travel airfare stuff is taken care of and meet with the fans. There are a lot of, and I'm not saying that a lot of them are money grubbing, greedy people. A lot of these celebrities really do like, and especially Giancarlo Esposito, because that man, along with many, many, many others, love talking to the public, and you can tell that just how genuinely they are in public with them. But smaller cons, I can definitely see getting more popular. The major cons that we're used to may be lacking less because, of course, actors are going to show up, writers are going to show up, and you now have panels that are scrambling to either save it or scrap it. But like you said, Joe, it's affecting all, and they know this whole thing is affecting all. And like I said, everybody, get used to this last couple of runs, because after that, depending on how long the strike is, you may be on reruns. Although I will say this though, libraries and comic book stores are about to get real freaking popular. But speaking of things that are popular, guys, I know this is kind of going to put a tarnish on everything, but Blue Beetle is starting to be the next one up. I know it's a terrible way of saying it, because this was one of the, like me and Joe said, me and Joe have both been looking forward to this movie. This officially, as James Gunn says, is kind of the unofficial start to his universe. But again, from this video, it's freaking cool. Here's a trailer.
Okay, I want to fly. Let's do this. Yeah!
You gotta force it to come out.
What do you... You're a genius.
Well, I know. But what I say?
Did you know what was going to happen to my brother when you stuck him with this world-destroying thing?
It's called the scarab. I had no idea it would activate. It has to choose you.
So how do we get it to unchoose me?
Host acquired.
Who said that?
Systems checking. 3, 2.
Uptown, baby. I was down, but they see him up down, baby.
Host overreacting.
Overreacting? You kidnapped me!
When I hit you with that, you know.
Threat approaching. Engaging host protection.
Kick it like it's judo. And when we get in mode, I'ma dog it like I'm Cujo.
Threat eliminated.
Sorry about that!
Are they trying to steal away? Cut it out.
What do you think the government is gonna do when they figure out that some kid has this military tech?
Bust it down.
We are going to change the world with the power of the scarab. It belongs to me.
Watch out!
Not the way, but the way don't stop.
Oh, he's pissed.
Listen to me!
Uptown, baby.
You got the wrong guy!
I'm a nobody, but I swear. They see I'm up now, baby.
The world is a place to protect.
I have an arsenal at my disposal.
Anything, please.
Watch and learn, Jaime. Whatever you can imagine, I can create.
Yeah, that's more like it.
That love you feel for your family makes you weak.
You're wrong. My family, that's what makes me strong.
Oh, I forgot how bad it looks.
Target the family.
Sorry, my mom.
Jaime?
You are a superhero, cabrón. Y'all take shots, y'all aim up. Whoa!
You're the Blue Beetle.
I could use that arsenal right about now.
Thought you'd never ask.
Hell yeah. They've been trying to stop the way, don't stop. Bust it down, bust it down.
Nana?
I advise me back away.
Town, I was down, but they see I'm up now.
So as you can see, guys, that is coming out one day earlier. It was for August 19th, but as you can see, it's coming out August 18th, which I know in the grand scheme of things, we're not too far off from it. And I hate to say it doesn't tarnish it just because I still want to go see it. I still think it's going to be great. Now that I've seen that trailer, I am for certain we're going to see Ted Kord. I think Ted Kord is going to make an appearance somewhere in Blue Beetle. But Joe, what do you think?
I am already starting to be concerned about this film.
How so?
This trailer was way too long, showed a little bit too much. My definite fear is that they're going to overuse the family. I don't care about his grandma with the Gatling gun. She does not need to be in there.
Still, that's
furthermore, they're already starting the press stuff, and I'm already starting to see Tom Cruise saw Blue Beetle, think it's the best movie ever. We saw this once already. We already know what happened there.
I want to ask how much the check was for that.
In fact, officially, as of this recording, The Flash is now the biggest comic book box office bomb in the history, meaning it passed Steel.
Yeah.
And Steel adjusted for inflation. So I am now worried about this movie because we were starting to see the same press tools used for Flash that were being used here. I wish the family was smaller. I don't mind. Is that Mario Lopez?
It looked like him. I'm not 100% certain.
The uncle where they do the Batman's.
Oh no, George Lopez. Yeah, that was him.
George Lopez. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't mind George Lopez. I don't mind the fact that he's got his girlfriend Tracy 13 in it. I don't even mind the mom and the dad. The mom and the dad are quintessential in this. The little sister wasn't that big of a deal. Grandma was never a big thing. Mm-hmm. I don't want to see the family overexposed and overused in this film. And right out the bat, they're already showing things like that. Also, why is Jaime fighting Beetle Mark II from the Thunderbolts?
I'm going to wait. Because I want to say that, but it's like, I'm not sure.
Look, I'm being very critical on this because of what I do with Blue Beetle. I costume Ted Kord. I'm a huge Blue Beetle fan. Mm-hmm. I going to be very harsh on this because of how much Blue Beetle has been with me and means to me and whatnot. So I'm very worried about this film already because of some of the things I saw. Like I said, I hope they dial it back and the grandma thing is like a hot second, but I don't need grandma with a Gatling gun in this movie in the slightest.
But that's where I disagree. I think the family itself is going to provide that. I think it's going to provide that balance. That's what what the movie is going for. That's why I said I like the fact of the family dynamic because again, it's all Latino, Latinx, and I am all for that.
I understand that. I understand the importance of that family to the culture, but it's one of those a little goes a long way with family members in these types of movies.
True, but I still think from the trailer side of it, it was a little bit longer. It's the final trailer, so of course they're going to maybe add some things. Do I think that was probably a little bit too long? It could be arguable, but I don't really have the same. I'm not saying that I don't have like my between this and the Flash. are night and day. Like we knew the Flash was going to bomb anyway.
Oh yeah, no, most definitely.
But I think Blue Beetle may have a little bit of a hit just because now the actors, of course, are on strike. They can't really do their promotions. You're really going to be depending on your advertisements to get people in there who are not DC fans or comic book fans. So your whole thing has to shift to get people to go to the movie theaters, just because this is going to be your last. This is going to be your last cash grabs before the strike really hits. That's what I think is going to really affect Blue Beetle. But overall, I still think it's going to be a good movie.
Also, I think, and this is going to sound, I don't know how I'm phrasing this in the best way, but this is a movie that's going to be promoted to, I think, the second largest minority in the United States.
Give or take. Yeah.
So, yes. So, this is going to be a very important movie because this is a Hispanic superhero film at the heart of things. So, I think this will do fantastically. Is just, me being the comic book reader, me being a Blue Beetle cosplayer, me being a huge Blue Beetle fan, I am just starting to sit there and it's like, this will be a problem for me just viewing. And I'll probably love this movie regardless. But this is one of the things where I'm just looking at it objectively, taking the movie thing out of it is like, there's problems already because of this trailer that hopefully they can go and re-edit. We still got time. But again, that's just me because again, I'm going to be a harsh critic on this.
Fair. No, it's fair. It's fair. I'm still going to go see it. I still, like I said, it's one of those ones where we have been clamoring to see different heroes in the DC universe.
Yes.
So I'm willing to give it an honest shot just because I don't trust Tom Cruise. I'm sorry. I really don't even want to go see Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning because, well, first and foremost, how many more times are you going to try to kill yourself in a Mission Impossible movie? Number one. But number two, like you said, he said the same thing about the Flash. And I'm like, how big was the check are they getting you to say this is my question.
You want to promote a celebrity to me to make me go see this? Let me know how Bill Burr feels about the Blue Beetle movie.
Bill Burr. That would be interesting. But before we move on to, we're going to switch gears to go to video games. So quick news before we get to our first trailer for Dragon Ball's new DLC. We did get answers from EA, and I'm happy, but I'm concerned. EA did announce that they are moving forward with a Black Panther video game. That'll be done by Cliffhanger Games. Not a lot has been known about this as of yet. But whenever it comes to EA, I'm telling you guys this because my EA, whenever I think of EA, I immediately think of games that they're either going to be pushing extremely or they're going to be pushing bug games that will fail and immediately scrap them. Because every time I think of EA, I think of Anthem. But for all those that are wondering, didn't we get this in Marvel's Avengers? Yes, you did get to play a DLC of Black Panther in Marvel's Avengers. And don't get me wrong, Crystal Dynamics did great with Marvel's Avengers. I mean, it was all skins and whatnot after a certain time, but still fun to play. But as more information does come out about the Black Panther game, I guess I will just withhold judgment until then. But the fact that EA is behind this and it's not with a known video game developer, that's where I'm a little bit concerned. Because if it was Crystal Dynamics, if it was Santa Monica Studios, I'd feel a little bit better because they've had a proven track record. But Joe, you got a look on your face. What's wrong?
I'm a little confused because didn't we already have a Black Panther game announced a while ago where it was taking place in World War II and it was with T'Chaka and Steve during, was it Vietnam or World War II?
Nope, you was right. World War II.
Yeah, so is this a new Black Panther game or is this the previous Black Panther game that got announced?
To answer your question, yes on both. Because as far as we know, the game, that game regarding Captain America and Black Panther has not been scrapped, but not a lot has been said about it. At the same time, it seems that Marvel's trying to move forward and having a Black Panther standalone game of its own. So to answer your question, yes to both.
So if EA is a part of this, does that mean I'm paying $5.99 for Vibranium Bar?
Pretty much.
Be able to buy a new skin, to be able to buy the Killmonger skin?
See, that's the thing I worry about, because I get that microtransactions are, I guess, the way to continually get money out of gamers. But as a lot of gamers have found out with Call of Duty Warzone, that all that money you spent into buying things and you found out that you don't own any of it and that it can be taken away from you. This is the reason why I say microtransaction in games are hateful, because especially an open sandbox game. Now, of course, this is not going to be an open sandbox game, but at the same time, this is the reason why I say those types of transactions done in an open world sandbox environment are really not are sucker purchases. I hate to say that, but it's true. I mean, look at Fortnite. Fortnite is the big Fortnite and Call of Duty are the biggest examples of these, and Apex Legends and PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. All of these are open sandbox games where players dump buku bucks to get skins, to get weapons, to get characters. And at the end of the day, you don't own any of it. You just play for the you pay for the right to use it. And so I'm hoping this is the case for the next Black Panther game, but again, we'll find out. I just say that microtransactions, ever since microtransactions were involved in video games, that's always been to me the death knell for just getting completed bug-free games, because again, the pursuit of money. But Black Panther
is not a mixture of Arkham Knight and Predator. I'm going to be very disappointed.
We're all going to be disappointed if this game comes out buggy because it's Black Panther. But with that being said, guys, we are going to go on and move on forward because we do have a couple of gaming trailers to show. I'm going to start with this one because, again, this was one that was the next DLC for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I have not seen this, so this is going to be interesting. But, Joe, you've seen it. Any thoughts you want to give before we play it?
I want my favorite Kamehameha in this one, and they don't have it.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. Anyway, here's the DLC Ground Battle 5 trailer for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. The 23rd World Tournament! The final match of the World Tournament! Will the title of the world's greatest belong to our returning hero Goku or to the mysterious Junior? Neither warrior lacks in strength or skill. We're witnessing the showdown of two masters. This battle will be spoken of for generations to come. From where I'm standing, both Tien Shinhan and Mercenary Tao are formidable martial artists. Tien's combo is faster than the eye can see. There it is, the Crane School's Dodon Ray! Mercenary Tao is playing on the pain! He doesn't know the meaning of mercy! Definitely the art of an assassin! Tien splits into four! Can Goku overcome this predicament, or will Tien Shinhan's 8 fists take home the win? I'm just as excited to find out as you are! Goku shows no signs of stopping! Tien Shinhan loses the round by ring out! I don't believe this! Junior has grown to massive stature! How is Goku going to handle this? I'm a little worried for my own physical safety, folks, but I'm not going anywhere! Oh no! Goku is down! 1, 2, 3, 4... The match continues! But which of them will take home the championship? Fierce fights like this are what the World Tournament is all about!
Okay, so they're going to be covering the 23rd World Tournament. Okay, so that was actually DLC Pack 5 Ground Battle trailer, which is basically going up for the 23rd World Tournament. If you've seen Dragon Ball Z, then you know exactly the arc they're talking about. Which there it looks like you'll be able to play with Junior, Goku, Tien. I never can say his name right. But yeah, that's what you're talking about, Joe, when you were saying that you were missing out on your favorite Kamehameha.
Yeah, they don't have the one when in the final fight where he just like Goku just decks Piccolo in the gut and then flies up and jumps into the air and just drills him with the Kamehameha downward.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is actually OG Dragon Ball, which is why no one can fly, and it's called ground battle because right now the only way you're able to fly in Dragon Ball is if you're the Crane School, because the Crane School's actual signature was the ability to put your key under your feet and fly.
Yeah.
Which is why this is called ground. I just repeated myself.
Ground
Which is
battle,
why this is a ground battle. So yeah, this is the final arc of the Dragon Ball saga before it goes into Dragon Ball Z. So this is the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai. We will probably get some of the other stuff. So Yamcha hilariously versus Shin, Krillin versus Piccolo. I think Master Roshi versus somebody too, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I've seen the 23rd Tenkaichi.
I don't remind myself.
Chi-Chi versus Goku.
Yeah, that's where they first met, right? When that?
Well, I mean, this is where they met again for the first time after the time skip.
Yeah,
where they got married.
That's what I was about to say. This is where they got married at the World Tournament.
So I'm kind of wondering what the fight with the third DLC is. I wonder if it's going to be like Dragon Ball Super superhero stuff or Broly. I wonder if they're going to expand the tournament stuff to have like a mini fighting game in there.
Well, it's interesting though, because I had to remind myself, like, dang, there was so much about Dragon Ball I forgot. But yeah, you got a point though. If they're keeping up with the times, then I'd have to think they're going to have to do the arc before Z, but I could be wrong about that. But
this is
No, wait, Sam.
I was saying this is the arc before Z. This is like the final arc before Z.
Oh, then they're going to go into Z next, then, if I'm right.
No, they're in Z. That's all what Kakarot is the full story of Dragon Ball Z with some with Battle of the Gods. The 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai is the final arc of Dragon Ball.
Gotcha. Okay. I have to think about that because I'm like, if you're going to go with the third pack, I wonder what that's going to be. But for all those that do play Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, again, that's going to be coming out very soon. I watch people play it. I couldn't get into Kakarot because I like fighters, but again, to each their own. But also another game another game trailer we wanted to show. If you guys didn't notice that there was a couple of showcases, Microsoft decided to do an indie game showcase. There were some interesting ones out there, but this one actually caught my eye because it reminded me of certain games. I thought this was going to be like a Silent Hill type game or an Alan Wake game, but this game is actually called Stray Souls, which is actually a sequel from another game. But check out the trailer. Also, guys, if you're not into horror flashing scenes, now's your warning.
"18 years. 18 years of agony and torment, waiting for the prophecy to be fulfilled. Forced into being a mere bystander, seeking redemption for the hell that she set in motion. Now, she has him in her grasp. I tried to escape, but the nightmare wouldn't end. I watched her sacrifice her whole family just to get what she wanted. He doesn't even know the danger he's in. But he's the only one who can stop her and end this. Daniel, I'm sorry.
Okay, so that was actually called Stray Souls, which will be coming out the Xbox exclusive. Also, will be available on Game Day Day One on Xbox Game Pass if you have it. When I first saw it, it looked like a Silent Hill type of game, which I was kind of got my interest on. But again, if you're like me, sometimes you pay attention to indie games. Sometimes they seem to fly past you. This one got my attention, so I'll be definitely checking it out this fall. But Joe, any thoughts on that?
I have no idea what this is.
Because I thought it was Alan Wake. I was like, wait, is it another Alan Wake game, or is it a Silent Hill game? Because it gave me those vibes. But overall, I'm definitely looking forward to it. But also Godzilla. I never thought we'd be saying Godzilla again. Well, not too soon, because again, we're expecting the next adaptation, the MonsterVerse. But this one is slightly different. This one is actually called Godzilla -1. Before we start, Joe, do you want to give any ideas or thoughts on this, or let it play for itself?
Yeah, we'll let it play, then we'll talk about it.
Cool. Here's Godzilla -1.
Godzilla -1.
Okay, so I got questions because I tried to look stuff up on this, and I've come up with zero. Because again, with Godzilla -1, I was trying to see how this is going to fit. Because this is being done by Toho, which, if you don't know who, is usually the main proprietor behind Godzilla movies. That being said, I thought that this would be related to, of course, Godzilla versus Kong and Kong Skull Island. I thought it still fitted within the MonsterVerse they're building over there, but I cannot say for sure if this is just a standalone or just coincidence. I just know that just from looking at the trailer, the teaser trailer that you saw, we do see Japan in ruins, as if an event just happened. I'm not sure if it was a post-kaiju battle. I don't know if it was a war, but we do see another Godzilla who is very, very ticked off. So beyond that, I got nothing except I got to find out more. But Joe, do you have anything to add to it?
Yeah, so aside from this being written and produced by Takashi Yamazaki, who, let me pull him up real quick. He has worked on various directing Space Battleship Yamato, Godzilla the Ride, Yokaipedia. He also wrote Yokaipedia. He's a special direct supervisor on Space Battleship Yamato. He intends to do a remake of Nazca Valley of the Wind at some point if Miyazaki will give it to him. He will not give it to him. It's Miyazaki. He's an angry old man. No, so this is supposedly set after World War II and the fire bombings of Tokyo. Fire bombings of Japan. So what the -1 indicates is after World War II and the bombings, Japan has been reduced to a state of zero. Godzilla appears and just decides to, put Japan immediately in the red by putting it into a negative state, which is why the -1 happens.
Gotcha.
This was codename Blockbuster Monster Movie until when it was initially announced last February in 2022. November 3rd in Godzilla Fest, it was revealed it will be the next entry. They revealed the full title this week. Fan site title, see clarification. Subsidiary, trying to find out. There's very little going on right now about this.
I'm telling you, they don't want. If this is the way to keep things on the wraps, they're doing it.
The one thing that I will note. Oh, here we go. We got some trivia. Hopefully, this will shed something.
Okay.
This will be the first Godzilla movie set before the primary Godzilla movie in 1954. It is not the first time that an earlier set has been depicted because Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah involves characters time traveling to 1944.
Okay.
There is some miscommunication because people think this is in the same continuity as Shin Godzilla. It is not. I want to say from the way the Godzilla is designed, it almost looks like. Well, here's the official site. See what the official site doesn't say on this. I want to say the Godzilla looks very similar to the Godzilla being used in the MonsterVerse, if not just a little bit spikier.
It looks like he just got hit with radiation and he just got woke up. That's what I took from that. But yeesh. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm intrigued by this just because it's a different Godzilla movie. Now, this doesn't take away from the fact that I'm still waiting for the next induction of the MonsterVerse movie because we still got to figure out who the orangutan was sitting on the throne on Hollow Earth. So we got to figure out what that
know who it is.
About.
We know
very angry orangutan.
No, we know it's Lanky Kong.
Nope, I'm not having Nintendo come after me. Nope, I'm not saying it. But no, it -1 does look interesting. I'm just, like I said, hopefully they're playing it very close to the chest and letting the trailer speak for itself, which definitely does get my attention. So I'm definitely
also coming out in America in 5 months.
Yeah. Which I guess that's gonna be the one little tidbits we have during the desert, which is again is gonna make this next clip, which I hate to say it because these movies, me and Joe are looking forward to, but might be slightly tarnished because the actors have joined the writers in the strike, and rightfully so. We understand. We're getting the first clip of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, and I'm gonna be honest. If this clip doesn't make you want to watch the movie, then I have to question your love for the Ninja Turtles. That's all I'm gonna say.
You haven't seen this, right?
I have not.
Oh, this will
be interesting. But this is the first clip for Mutant Mayhem.
Master Splinter has given us a very important mission for tonight. The target is across the street. We must use stealth and cunning to infiltrate the human world and retrieve. Go, Kurt.
Okay, Batman.
Dude, what? I'm just trying to hype you guys up,
Give me
okay?
that list, okay? What else we getting? 4 quarts of non-fat milk,
Nice.
ice cream,
Yeah.
fruits and veggies, and
No.
a party-sized bag of Cool Ranch Doritos.
I like cheese
He was very specific about the party size. He underlined it twice.
All right, Donnie, you're on toiletries. Raph, you're stocking up the pantry. And Mikey, you're on junk
Yes,
food.
sirski.
And remember, don't let any human see you. Because why? Humans are the demon scum of the earth. Avoid them. Don't say hi. They lust to murder that which is different from them.
To interact with them is to die.
And hey, I know that's objectively prejudiced, but that's what Dad taught us.
I think humans seem kind of cool, to be honest. Beyonce.
Drake, that guy's the goat of all
Love
time.
to have a champagne brunch with Tom
Guy
Brady.
Fieri seems like a fun hang, and I've always wanted to go to Flavor Town.
Look, we all think humans are cool, but we got a job to do. Let's go.
Let's
Hey, I'm the leader of the group.
Leo.
You sound like you have bronchitis.
You know what? I'm sold. Off the clip alone, I'm sold. That was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. As you can see, that comes out August 2nd. Not too far off from now. Wow. I'll give Seth Rogen credit for this. The direction he went with this. Wow. Because it was funny at the same time. I love the fact that, again, they're all clowning on Leo. He's doing his Batman thing. But no, I got no complaints. I can't say anything else about the movie. It literally it brings you back. I know for me and Joe and for people of our age, it does bring us back to the original 90s ones that the 90s movies that we know and love, and it seems to capture that same magic. So
Yep, Leonardo is as boring as ever.
yeah, I'm sold. I got nothing to add. I got nothing else to add to that
He
one.
is the most white bread white boy you have ever seen. If he was like, I've always wanted to do a champagne brunch with John Brady, it's like, now let's be. We can sidestep this very easily by reminding everybody that they are technically New Yorkers, and if they're smart, they go with the Patriots, not the Giants.
It'll be interesting. I do love the fact that Pizza Hut still got written down at the bottom. I was like, oh, not an ode to Domino's, but I understand Pizza Hut's kind of paid for the advertising space. Understandable. Yeah. They paid for it because I was like, I was slick expecting Domino's just because that for a lot of us, Domino's probably thanks its existence to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now that I think about it, because
only the first movie. I think it was only the first movie.
Yeah, I think it was the first movie. No.
Then it was Pizza Hut every time else.
You're exactly right because in two, yep, you are correct. Domino's is only in the first one, then Pizza Hut was in the second one. You're exactly right. But yeah, it's still one of those movies that, again, I like the direction. I love the voicing. I love the voice actors and how they're going, how they're interacting with each other. The fact that Master Splinter is kind of like, well, what did Dad say? Well, he's like, Dad just says, like, okay, that might be slightly prejudiced, but
that's what Dad got us.
Just,
I like the other clip that we've seen that's been passed around where they're like, what is our last name? It's like, I'll just space it out. So Michelangelo, and he's doing the goofy Italian thing, and then there's like, hey, Leo, your last name's Nardo.
Just, I'm looking forward.
By the way, guys, just the thing, their last name is technically Hamato. It's not Yoshi. Hamato Yoshi, they were doing the Japanese thing and not realizing that it's Yoshi Hamato. Only if the it's in the continuity where Splinter is Yoshi Hamato, not the rat owned by Yoshi.
Yeah. But again, August 2nd is going to be. That's why I said I hate this because, again, with the strikes, these movies, which seem to be solid movies that are coming out, we're not sure whether or not they're going to take a hit. They might. I mean, we can't be totally blindsided and say they're going to do fine. They may take some type of hit. And maybe might not be as profitable as they should be, but again, it's just going to be kind of rough. Again, I'm just being honest with you guys. Get used to these last couple of movies coming out because after that, that might be it for a while.
Honestly, I think they'll be fine because what we're getting is, we're getting Barbie, Oppenheimer, Ninja Turtles, Blue Beetle, Ghostbusters. We got like a good rollout and whatnot, and the Marvels and whatnot. We're not getting cookie cutter films for a while. So I think the uniqueness we do get some nostalgia baiting with a couple of them. Most certainly Barbie and Ninja Turtles, but they're unique unto themselves to where they have their own personality. There'll be callbacks, I'm sure, but I think the plots themselves are anything but normal.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, the fact that this is now the second time Will Ferrell's been a head of a major corporation involving the main movie that it's part of.
True, and Ice Cube as Baxter. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, the weird thing about this movie I'm super confused about is that Superfly is not Baxter Stockman.
Which he obviously is. That's the part that I'm like, how is he not Baxter? We see Krang. Krang's exactly who we think he is. But
Krang, I wish Gilbert Gottfried was still alive to do Krang again.
Yeah.
Him being Krang subprime was hilarious.
Just true. He actually did have a wonderful impression of that.
Roseanne being Krang was the weird one. Although still that kind of fit.
That was creepy. I never could get a Roseanne Barr voicing Krang.
Well, I mean, that's not the worst of the Krangs. The worst Krangs are in the Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Those things were flat out terrifying.
True, can't argue that, but Roseanne Barr is definitely a close second. But again, guys, August 2nd is when Mutant Mayhem is coming out. Twisted Metal, which is coming to Peacock as we're getting to our television premieres. I was on the fence about this until this trailer, and now I may give it a shot. But here is the trailer for Twisted Metal that'll be streaming on Peacock.
"20 years ago, the world fell to cities put up walls to protect themselves and threw the criminals out so they could fight over what was left. But there are humble mother like me delivering cargo from one walled city to another. And that's where the cars and guns come in.
Give me the package, man!
So if I'm here, then the exit is... Oh, they have a Foot Locker. Oh, son of a...
Welcome to New San Francisco. I want to hire you. Pick up a package, bring it back. I can make your every wish come true. So, John, what do you wish for?
Toilet paper. 2-ply.
I think I can do better.
3-ply? All right, Evelyn, let's deliver this package. It's rude not to introduce yourself before pulling a gun on someone. Oh, it's rude.
If you put the gun down, I'll drop you off as close as I can to where you're going.
You have no idea what's out east. Even the people trying to bring the law back are dangerous.
This is our land. These are our roads.
And you're gonna have to go through Vegas. We both know who rules Vegas, John.
Hi, everybody.
I've never seen anyone cut off a human head and catch it as good as that.
Make me lose my mind. Up in here, up in here.
This is gonna be fun.
Peekaboo. Make me go all out. Up in here, up in here.
This never happened to me before. Really? Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh my God, it's DMV.
What's down the red line?
No, please.
Cool. Screams.
And, you know, after seeing this trailer, this is the reason why I say I want to give it a shot. But as you can see, guys, that's the trailer for Twisted Metal, streaming to Peacock only July 27th. I'm going to give it a shot. Anthony Mackie, I mean, it's a different... I was worried how to do Twisted Metal. Now, for all those that don't know, Twisted Metal has a very different story in the video games, depending on which one you play. I mean, you can play the original one. You can play Black. Black still had the most twisted stories. Well, no. Was it Black or was it 3?
It was Black.
Black had the more twisted stories?
Yes.
Okay. Black, if you've never played Twisted Metal Black, that's got some messed up stories and endings, by the way. But I was curious to see how they would do this as a television series. Again, there are some favorite characters of policemen from the first one. For all those that don't know, he's going to be in that one. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be some other choice selected characters. I'm kind of curious. I'm wondering if they're ever going to do Calypso, or the fact that Calypso really wasn't named or mentioned, considering he's the brainchild behind the whole thing. But since it's not really a tournament per se, it's more like a Carrier meets Mad Max meets Thunderdome type thing. I'm willing to give it a shot. Plus, Bill Hader as the voice of Sweet Tooth, it should be interesting. But Joe, any thoughts on that?
Why is this not called Vigilante 8?
It should be. I'm not gonna lie, it really should be. I fully agree with that. But no, it just to me it looks interesting. I'm definitely gonna give it a shot. I want it to do well, but you know, in the world of Peacock, if you're not getting 100 people, you're not getting 1 million people streaming this a day. And again, guys, this kind of goes back to the whole thing about strikes and everything that's going on. That streams do rule. Streams mean money, and how many people are actually watching at a certain time equals how long a series sticks around. Don't believe me? Ask Netflix. They've cut many They've cut many a show when the production and the streams didn't add up to each other. So again, July 27th is when Twisted Metal comes out. I'm definitely gonna give it a shot and get my review of it there. The last show that we got, guys, again, from the Disney Plus side of things, I know we're going right back to the mouse. Ashoka, which delivered their final trailer. And I've seen this one. It's freaking beautiful. I cannot wait to see Thrawn. I cannot wait to see how they're going to do her story. Rosario Dawson is going to be awesome, but that's all I got. Joe, anything you got before we play it?
I like that Dave Filoni has just come right out and says, like, yeah, this is really Rebels Season 5.
Yes, as it should be, and I'm not complaining. But here's the trailer for Ahsoka.
War is inevitable. One must destroy in order to create. We are no Jedi.
I started hearing whispers of Thrawn's return as heir to the Empire.
What happens when we find Thrawn?
Power, such as you've never dreamed.
I've spent most of my life fighting a war. That's why I'm trying to convince you to help me prevent another one. You and I both know who could help you with this.
She's still just as stubborn as ever.
I bet your master found you difficult at times.
Anakin never got to finish my training. I walked away from him, just like I walked away from Sabine.
You never made things easy for me, Master.
As a Jedi, sometimes you have to make the decision no one else can. But I'm counting on you to see this through.
Nice haircut. Sometimes we have to do what's right, regardless of our personal feelings.
Buckle up.
If we don't stop Thrawn, everything will be in vain. You have no power.
Anakin spoke highly of you.
I'm not here to discuss my past.
We have a lot of work to do. Once a rebel, always a rebel.
All I can say is wow. As you guys can see, that was the trailer for Ahsoka, which will have a 2-episode premiere come August the 23rd. Wow. That is all I can freaking say. Also, dang it. It's just, good Lord. Rest in peace, Ray Stevenson. Rest in peace. Because, wow. And there's I mean, aside from the fact the man did pass away earlier this month, but still, you see his face. It's kind of hard not to see it. But again, rest in peace, Ray Stevenson. I'm looking forward to this. Those 2 episodes are going to fly right on past. But Joe, any thoughts on that?
Oh, hey, David Tennant's back.
Yep. The Doctor. Oh, he's always my favorite Doctor. But that's a whole nother genre. That's a whole nother fandom. But yeah, it looks great. And again, Dave Filoni, I will give him credit for this. This man is doing right by Star Wars. And for a lot of people out there, it's like, well, this is my Star Wars. Well, it wasn't meant to grow old with you. But at the same time, there are different stories that are being told out there, as they should. And Ahsoka has always been one of those that needs to be told. But as Joe has pointed out, we have Star Wars Rebels Season 5. No complaints. Joe, anything you want to add to that?
I mean, my chopper's back over there somewhere.
You went robot voice on me, Joe.
You went robot on me too.
Oh, you definitely went full on Autobot. You definitely went full on Autobot. You want to come back out and try back in?
Let me try. Hold on.
All right. Go ahead.
It's better.
Yeah. Say what?
Better.
No, still Autobot.
What's going on there?
I got me. You went. We just got to watch Star Wars, and you really went full on BB-8 right now. But while Joe's fixing it, because we definitely did not want him sounding like an Autobot for the rest of the show. But yeah, it's one of those things where, like I said, for all this seems to be tied back around the main thing is just like with the strike going on, with writers and actors, it does kind of make, and thankfully, I'm not, and actually that's another question though, we're not sure how much of Ahsoka, it might have already been completely produced already, and it's just sitting to be released. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm not sure if that's the case. But yeah, it does affect how things move forward. And this is the reason why I say just like Blue Beetle, just like Mutant Mayhem, and putting Ahsoka in that same file, it just makes you wonder. But go ahead and try again, Joe. What you got?
I don't know.
There we go. All right. Okay, so now you're back normal now, Joe. But I was going to ask if there was anything you want to add to Ahsoka.
No, I mean, it's Rebel Season 5. I really can't say too much of that. I love that we're getting Thrawn. I'm very interested to see what his take on Thrawn is going to be. Is it new Thrawn? Is it classic Thrawn? I'm a little wondering about that because I'm almost through the 6-part book series of Thrawn. On like the final book right there. So I'm wondering if he's going to be like I want to say mildly autistic Thrawn, where he's brilliant at tactics, but just absolute crap at politics. Or if he's classic Thrawn, where he's just everything.
Possible. I'm not against it. I have to go back. I have to remind myself about Thrawn. That's the sad part.
I'm also wondering if they're going to add any of the characters from the Thrawn books from the Chiss Ascendancy.
Maybe. I have to go back and go watch it because I am mind wiped on Thrawn right now. But I'm definitely gonna go back and watch Rebels and get that. But again, August 23rd is when it's coming out on Disney Plus. Definitely watching that. Speaking of Disney Plus, though, we do have to talk about Secret Invasion because the most recent episode number 4. We're going to talk about it in its full entirety. So if you have not seen Secret Invasion and don't want to know about it, now would be the good time to mute us or come back to us in a few minutes. But Joe, I'm going to let you go first, man. What did you think of the most recent episode of Secret Invasion?
Super Skrulls.
That part.
Well, that's pretty much how you sum up the whole episode.
Yeah.
Super Skrulls.
Well, that's how Talos' daughter was saved, that she basically decided to give herself an upgrade before she escaped. But at the same time, I'd love to say that we called it about Rhodey. I hate to say it, but that does bring up a next question. Because we're spoiling this. Y'all can't say we didn't warn you. But the fact
when and how long?
Yeah. That's the thing. That's the question. Now that we have it confirmed that Rhodes is a Skrull, where did the switch happen? Because, did it happen? Because now that's going to be the question that a lot of people are going to be asking that may or may not get answered in the last 2 episodes of Secret Invasion is like, where did he actually get switched, if you will? Because technically, Talos is quote-unquote dead for now. I say quote-unquote dead because we thought his daughter was dead. She somehow survived thanks to the extremist hookup, basically making her a Super Skrull. But Talos being stabbed by forgot his name already. But Talos being stabbed and thinking that's kind of him being dead, and then Nick leaving him there, does that mean that Talos is dead, or is like, where does it go to from here? Because now Nick knows that Rhodes, the Skrull impersonating Rhodes, is in the one spot that can either condemn him, which he's already said he would. He said, look, he said, I can put this video out to the world showing that you murdered your subordinate. Or I can keep this to myself and you just disappear. which I have to give him credit for that. I love the lines that he used. He says, I didn't just boot him. I DDT'd him from top of the cage, Undertaker style. Which goes to show you, kids, wrestling is everywhere, especially when they have Undertaker references. But aside from that, it's heading to a certain point in Secret Invasion. Like I said, it's only 6 episodes. This was 4. And the fact that we kind of saw what happened with Samuel L. Jackson and his wife, I guess, that she, they had a divorce of sorts.
No, I do like that he asks, like, so do we renew vows? Do we divorce? What are we doing here?
Right, because he's like, I don't know if we should divorce or renew our vows, because they both had the same idea. And technically, yeah, they could have offed each other, but they chose not to. So it's like, I understood. I knew what you did. I know what you had to do. I understand it. But are you going to be okay? There's always that level of care. It's like, yeah, you tried, and yeah, you might have been told to eliminate me, but I still care about you. But no, that was interesting in itself for that brief period of marriage. I guess you could say that Fury was married, but yeah, it does beg the question: what are we going to be expecting in the last 2 episodes? I mean, we know we have 1 confirmed scroll. We know there are 2 super scrolls presently. And Nick doesn't really have a lot of moves outside of now he has the president. So it just makes you kind of speculate what happens next. But any thoughts on that, Joe?
So my guess is Everett and Rhodey got nicked during the blip because Rhodey was one of the blip survivors.
True.
Ross Everett is kind of nebulous, but that also now makes you wonder, is the Everett Ross that got picked up in what's it called? Wakanda Forever. Was that the scroll or is that Everett Ross?
You know what? I think that, I'm just going to go and say on a limb. I think he wasn't. I think that's the real Ross. Ross was just never, because he was still running with the Midnight Angels. So I don't think he was ever back.
We don't know what Constantine, lady with the Julia Louis-Dreyfus super long name lady is.
Lady Hydra. I still call Lady Hydra till otherwise. But that's the thing, though. It's like I don't think Ross ever got back just because he was still running with them at the time when Wakanda was fighting Namor. So I want to say the switch was easy then for him to step in and say who he was because nobody questions it. Rhodes is different though, because where could he have been picked up? Could he have been picked up between Infinity War and Endgame? Or he would have to be, considering the fact that the last time we saw Rhodes was in Endgame. We didn't see him in any other. We didn't see Rhodes. Until the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That was it. That was the only other time between here and now we've seen Rhodes in the MCU. So either he got picked up then, or he got picked up in between. That's either one. But so far, this has been a very interesting series, and the fact that we have 2 episodes left, so episode 5 should be really interesting. It should reveal something. I still think there's gonna be one more scroll that's gonna be revealed. I kind of think we're gonna have a Photon. We're gonna have a Miss Photon show up. I kind of think we're gonna see something. But again,
I'm expecting the actual Super Scroll to appear. Like I am expecting Clerk to appear from nowhere.
Yeah,
for whatever reason.
I can see that too.
Because Talos kind of, for what we have, Talos has, I guess, he has Groot's powers, but that's a decent substitute for Reed's.
Yeah,
richness is the growing branches and whatnot. So you got to make do there, but I'm really expecting Clerk to be something or pop up at some point. I'm wondering if that's that one guard that's always talking to Talos.
Probably. Although they did show every power except the Bifrost. Like the Bifrost Giant's DNA, I don't get. Like you saw Groot's DNA, you saw Extremis, but you didn't see where the Bifrost Giants come in.
Which the other thing I love about this is how much of bankability have they gone back to Extremis since its introduction in Iron Man 3. Like that thing like just keeps popping up every so often.
True. And who's not saying this isn't the Stark perfected version? I mean, the Extremis virus could be the Stark perfected version instead of the imperfect one. So
this also makes me super wondering if Rhodey's going to be hyper paranoid in Armor Wars, or if the Armor Wars Rhodey we get is even Rhodey.
See, that's also a fair point because again, we really don't know when the switch happened. Although I can only think of the fact that because you know what? No, I'm gonna go ahead and put this. I'm gonna put this as timestamp. I think he got nabbed between Endgame and Falcon Winter Soldier. I think that's where the switch happened. But no, I think it's gonna be. But again, Secret Invasion is definitely interesting. As far as us going down the rabbit hole of what to expect next, it is going to be an interesting couple of episodes to wrap this up. But we do have some comic book news before we get to our comics. I want Joe to go with this one because he is a Thunderbolts fan, and I wanted his opinion on this because direct from Marvel folks, a new lineup of the Winter Soldier leading a new strike force in the next Thunderbolts run. This is being written by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing, along with artist Geraldo Borges. That'll be actually doing the art itself. Here's actually the artwork that you see at the bottom, where Bucky will be leading, as you can see there, a group of the next Thunderbolts. So, Joe, because you are a Thunderbolts aficionado, sir, what's your opinion on this?
It's almost as if they're using this book to promote something. Yes, so we get a new Thunderbolts book with a very similar cast to the upcoming movie led by Contessa Luisa Francesca Banana Fanafavesca III.
Pretty much.
You can call her Dot. Call her Dottie and you die. With Bucky, White Widow, Black Widow, Guardian, U.S. Patriot. I don't know who that one next to Shang-Chi is in Shang-Chi.
I want to say there's
like a list up top or something, but I do not recognize her like right off the top of my thing.
See. Oh, Destroyer. So that's Sharon Carter.
Okay, so Sharon Carter.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, where's Sharon Carter in Secret Invasion? That woman's been a Skrull for a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we're getting this new book. I mean, I'm gonna look forward to it. It's just because it's a Thunderbolts book, and they're one of my favorite Marvel teams next to the X-Men. I mean, this is very blatantly going to be used to help promote the movie. Should the movie come out on time, because we got that thing we've been talking about the majority of the podcast.
Yeah,
right now, so more than likely that's been halted.
Yeah, that's what makes me wonder. All these great things that are coming out, will they still be on time? That's the thing.
It's interesting that Shang-Chi's in this lineup. Kind of wondered that's like signaling, by the way, we're going to have a cameo from Simu Liu and Thunderbolts as Shang-Chi for no reason.
Well, I mean, that one in the next Shang-Chi movie, the Destruction of Time or something.
We have no idea, and I keep thinking that's like a misnomer.
I'm sorry, my bad. I thought they gave a title to it. But yeah, it's going to be interesting about that. Like I said, I'm trying to now, because Joe's kind of enticed me to read Thunderbolts, so I decided to go back to earlier volumes and go that route. I thought that was interesting just because of Bucky leading a team.
He's done before.
Which he has. He has. But I just thought that was the interesting story. But this next one we have, guys, this kind of spoils a little bit of the comic book pool. Joe, do you want to talk about this one, or do you want to wait?
Yeah, we could chat about this. No one knew. Everybody knew this was coming. Every single person knew this was happening.
Yeah.
So, Ms. Marvel was recently killed in the books. We're going to be discussing what is basically the funeral issue.
Pretty much.
Which is a gorgeous issue and was the book of the week. Spoilers for that. So she's coming back. not a big thing. She's also the new book's being titled Ms. Marvel, the New Mutant, because she is going to be coming back and discovering she's a mutant, which is why they're going to explain her new light powers. The big thing is that Ms. Marvel herself is going to be co-writing the book along with a as of yet named writer. So
and as she during that, it was kind of funny where I love Amon Bonali. She is so freaking adorable because again, she's one of us. She is a Marvel fan and will gladly defend her fandom and die on that hill. But I love that she says this, quote unquote, I want to make it very, very clear that we are not retconning her Inhuman origin. That's a part of Kamal's identity. And that Marvel editorial and myself would very much like to keep and protect. She understands the assignment, ladies and gentlemen. Very much so.
Yeah.
But yes, for all those that don't remember, and of course, if you've been under a rock, Miss Marvel did actually appear on Disney Plus months ago, and again, was a fan favorite. Very well done for the series for its first season. But I love the fact that she is now so invested in Miss Marvel that she's actually getting together and actually writing the next Miss Marvel comics. And again, I am not against it. I love every part of it. I think that, her kind of giving a new mutant, as you can see right there, her costume's going to slightly change a little bit. As far as her outfit goes. But again, I think it's in great hands. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, Amon Vellani right now is definitely living all our dreams. But Joey, anything else you want to add to it?
So Marvel has officially put out the first summary for the first issue that is, after being brought back via co-resurrection technology, Kamala is shocked to learn that she is a mutant. But before she can come to terms with this revelation, she is immediately resurrected right as the fall of X happens. So this will throw her world into chaos and has been sent on a secret mission on behalf of the X-Men. The comic will also feature a brand new logo. X logos are adorned on a costume designed by Jamie McKevie, who designed Carol's Captain Marvel suit and Kamala's original look. Where's the other stuff?
It's a great cover.
Oh yeah,
and it's a great cover, and the fact that they wanted to use mutant, and the reason why, guys, they're wanting to use mutant is because again, Disney owns Fox, which Fox owns the rights to somehow X-Men and the word mutant. Don't ask me how. I'm not a lawyer, but for the longest time, the MCU couldn't say mutant. They said enhanced, they said inhuman, but only on Miss Marvel did the word mutant get actually said for the first time in the MCU. So I'm not against the fact of how they're wanting to do this. I think it's a good way to revitalize the series. But again, an actor getting the chance to co-write their own series is pretty cool. What are you gonna say, Joe?
So we do have more information. So this has been confirmed. This is going to be a 4-issue miniseries.
Okay.
This is going to be tying in directly to the Fall of X. This is going to be written by Ms. Marvel TV writer Sabar Perzada and Amon Vellani. So both people in charge of the television series will be writing the book. The comic will be drawn by Carlos Gomez and Adam Gorham with Sarah Bocelli on cover art. So I think this is in good hands. Art Germ has already put out a variant cover, which I guarantee you is already going for buku bucks in terms of pre-orders because of sorts of stuff like that. As we said earlier, the story of Kamala's return will begin in Hellfire Gala one-shot, coming out at the end of this month, with Ms. Marvel's actual book coming out at the end of August. So this is, of course, also is being done to help promote the Marvel's film. That is also they're also being very transparent about that.
Yep.
I, for one, just looking forward to it. I have her entire run. I have her all the champions they publish. I have her entire run, so I mean, this is just gonna be adding into the Ms. Marvel pantheon.
Oh yeah, it is definitely going to be just that. But again, I just like the fact to just see. I mean, because have you ever heard Imani Malone talk anything Marvel? First off, she gets immediately giddy. At the same time, she also kind of sits there and kind of corrects head honcho Kevin Feige sometimes about the 616 universe. So I think she's freaking adorable. I can't wait to actually give it a shot. But while Joe's, before we get to comments, is there any other news, Joe, that we missed, or because a lot's happened? Because ever since the dark hole that is the strike happened, everything else
kind of happened this week.
Okay, because I was gonna say ever since the dark hole that was the strike,
like everybody dropped everything as much as they could before the, yeah. Like
so
every studio dropped everything they could. Well, I mean, we have the Ken music video.
No, that's nightmare fuel. Nope. That is nightmare fuel. And I'm mad that someone showed that to me. That is straight nightmare fuel for me.
I put that in the group chat because they actually showed it themselves.
I can't.
It's not nightmare fuel, it's just Ken having an existential crisis.
Agree to disagree. But why you're
what that is.
Why are you getting the comics pulled together, sir? But also why he's getting that together, guys. Again, we still want to know your opinions on everything that we talked about tonight. But yes, like I said, that hole in the wall we just can't seem to ignore. So it's gonna be interesting. But I see Joe's got his lineup ready, sir. So whenever you're ready, sir.
Yep, first book we're looking at tonight, Spirit World issue number 3. This is, and I gotta lower this light. I can't see for crap. Writers Alyssa Wong with, why is everything so small? Henning is the artist with cards by Sebastian Ching, lettering by Janice Chiang, and covers by Hanning and Ching. This is just continuing the story of Spirit World, which has been consistently good. Zythe and Constantine are now in the world of the dead, which the world of the dead looks surprisingly Chinese, and I'm here for it. They're looking for Cassandra Cain Batgirl, who has been apparently found out a constant visitor of the world of the dead because of her mom. Because parenting, when your mom is Lady Shiva, that's just a Tuesday. We see deals are made, demons are on the hunt, and things are just could not be going fantastically. But when you bring John Constantine on board, that's going to happen no matter what happens.
That and the I guess you could call her the dealer of the spirit world was interesting because she could easily be fooled by kitty treats. That was interesting.
Yes, the fox spirit.
Yeah. That was interesting though. But yeah, Constantine not wanting to be there.
Kitty treats are a very good thing.
Yeah, but it's funny where Constantine said, "I'm sorry, I don't like cats." What? just the look of just hatred. It's like, I am not a cat. Yeah, you got a tail. But no, I thought it was pretty good.
Yep. Next up, we got World's Finest Teen Titans. This is written by Mark Waid, art by Emanuela Lapuccio, colors by Jordi Belair, letters by Steve Ward. So this is a spinoff of the World Finest book, also written by Mark Waid, except instead of Dan Mora, it's Emanuela Lapuccio, who does equally gorgeous artwork and whatnot. Jordi Belair on colors, fantastic. We know Jordi Belair from looking at various Wonder Girls. So while World's Finest is a look at Donna DC's earlier era with Batman and Superman, Teen Titans looks at a more earlier yet modern update to what the classic Teen Titans were, to where Speedy is constantly live casting all their adventures, despite the fact that they're taking on the Mr. Tornado who's capturing teens.
Right.
and whatnot. Robin is still not outed his identity to everybody. For whatever reason, Garth and Donna are a couple.
That was interesting.
Yeah, that was weird. And I think that's a relationship of convenience more than actual love.
Right.
Bumblebee is on the team, which is a new thing, but I'm there for it.
Mm-hmm.
And Wally is just Wally. I mean, Wally's just going to always be consistently Wally. I can't say anything else about that.
True.
Good start. Great artwork. Fun story. I like that all the other Justice League members that these sidekicks belong to are like all for it, and Batman's like, no, you're wasting your time.
Batman is always going to be Batman. You cannot reveal your identity. I said, wow, you guys really did take Young Justice episode and you just put it in comic book form. I am not mad about that.
And Green Arrow's not even there. Roy is just talking to himself.
Right. I'm not mad about that. It was a good issue.
My other thing I like the Batman, when Batman finally relents, like, fine, you can do this, but you're leading the team.
Right.
You're not getting an option in this.
It's like you are meant to be the leader, which goes to tell you in a world full of superpowered individuals, a non-powered human is still leading them. That's saying a lot.
But we also know that in his older age, Dick has no problem throwing Bruce under the bus to these guys.
Oh, yeah. He's like, I'm not Batman, but I do have a plan to stop you. I'm just letting you know off the bat. I'm not going to hold it against you.
Yeah. It's like, I do have contingencies, but unlike Bruce, I'm going to let you know right now, here and now.
Toss
that thing. All right, so... No, go ahead.
No, I was going to agree with you on that, but go ahead.
All right, so we're not really going to be digging too deep into this. The only reason I looked at this is because someone spoiled the ending for me. This is just Night Terrors issue 1. So this is what's going on in the real world while everything is going on in everybody's dreams. Honestly, I really don't care. The only thing that this really tells us is this dude is exactly what Will said it was. He is a knockoff Dr. Destiny and explains how he got his powers.
Yeah.
And the only reason I'm looking at this is because they make they resurrect a zombie version of Wesley Dodds to help combat this because he is the only thing that could potentially stand up to insomnia.
Welcome back, Sandman.
Yeah, I do like that they have respected the old issues of JSA before the reboot, and that Wesley Dodds still is dead.
Yeah.
So they have, and that his costume is still reminiscent of the Sandman Mystery Theater series. So big props on that. I don't know how I feel about Zombie Sandman. I honestly was like, I thought maybe this was like a Dead Man thing, but no, it's two separate things. The Dead Man's still like autopiloting Batman for most of it.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, found out that Insomnia thinks he's a god, but like Sandman pilots his body's like, oh, you're just a dude.
See, that's what I'm gonna laugh about because eventually, once this run is completed, Batman's gonna have such a bone to pick with Dead Man, and it's gonna be funny. It's like, I want to be mad at you, but technically you saved my body. Although my training could have got me out of this if you never hijacked it. That's funny.
So if anything, I will probably check back in on the numbered actual Night Terror episode issues, or if they say specifically read this book to find out sequentially what's happening next. Because I do want to see where Zombie Sandman runs into all this.
See, that's the thing. I want to follow the only ones, like I said, going back from last week. Joker seems pretty good. I've been following. I want to follow Joker, Poison Ivy, Batman, Superman. Well, Superman hasn't been done yet. What's the other one?
Flash, Green Lantern.
Green Lantern. Ravager was okay, but I think that was more put in there just to add variety. But no, I still want to follow this and see where they go with this. Insomnia is exactly what Dr. Destiny is. There's no getting around that. I was kind of hoping it would go a little bit different, but they didn't, just because they're still looking for the Dreamstone. Well, he's looking for the Dreamstone that Dr. Destiny hid. it's kind of a who's who of where the stone is, because he hid the stone in the dreams of one of them. That, my friend, is wild. But overall, I like it though. I mean, it's not overall terrible that Dead Man's like, nope, I need backup. Who do I know to go to? Sandman. And he apologized. Look, I hate.
I'm sorry for waking you, Wesley.
Yeah, he at least apologized. Like, hey, I'm sorry, but I need your help. Cool. Who we stopping? So I mean, overall, it was a good issue. I do dig it.
My big question in all of this is still, where's Morpheus in all this?
That is a wonderful question. That's the question. I'm hoping he's gonna pop up in somebody's issue.
I really do hope he's gonna pop up on this, or he pops up with Wesley somehow and just like looks at all this and just like looks at the stones like, really?
Because that's my
all this
thing.
for this.
I think he is going to pop up somewhere. It's just, I really want to say he's going to pop up in someone else's story. I don't think he's going to pop up in the main Night Terror story, but I could be wrong about it. That's my guess.
All of this is technically happening in the dreaming, so like he's got to appear at some point.
You like to think so, considering it's his world. It is his world, so you would think he would pop up somewhere.
So while we're discussing this has been written by Josh Williamson with art by Giuseppe Kamakuli, Stefano Nessi, and Caspar Wingard, with covers by Frank Martin and Caspar Wingard, lettering by Tony Petrelli. Yeah, like I said, it's fine. Honestly, I'm still not too invested. The only thing keeping me around right now is Zombie Sandman, but that's because cosplay Sandman for the longest time until going around in public wearing a gas mask became inappropriate, and then I stopped.
Understandable.
Don't want to get shot by the cops.
That too.
Yep. That's why I don't even have any firearms with my thing, even though I am working on a Colonial Marine, but that's because that firearm I'm making is so preposterously exaggerated, no one can possibly misconstrue that.
Or orange tag the hell out of it, but I see your point.
I mean, it's already orange to begin with. It's Nerf. Moving on to indies. We got Star Trek issue 10, written by Colin Kelly and Jansen Langzig. By the way, didn't we just talk about them? Yes, we did.
Yes.
Pencils by Mike Feehan, inks by Manuel Brocchi, covers by Lee Lohan, and lettering by Clayton Cowles. This is just the fallout of the trial, and how does Ben Sisko get out of this? By killing everybody in the courtroom.
Leave it to Garrick.
It wasn't even Garrick. It was.
I mean, technically, it was. I want to say Garrick. It was more Damar. It was more Damar. It was more Damar. Yeah, Damar's like, I really wasn't. Damar was like, the trial really wasn't for you. At least not this one. This was just to get rid of all those that I need. This was all the loyalists I need to get rid of. I was like, that's some cold-blooded stuff. That's cold-blooded.
Garrick's just in the background. Ooh, bravo.
I was like, if that ain't cold-blooded, he said, I just want to get rid of the loyalists, and what better person than the killer himself? But the trial,
everybody in one spot.
Right. Just Jesus. But no, Garrick being giddy about it, Garrick almost had a level of respect for him, just like, didn't know you had it in you. But no, but that, and then of course them getting the orb of destruction. And I forgot the guy's name who's the Bajoran. He's pretty much, he reminds me of if Worf was a Bajoran, that'd be him. Yeah, Shanks.
Yeah, Shanks from Lower Decks.
Yeah, if Worf was a Bajoran who was like, hey, today's the day I go, cool. They're all looking at him like, hey, aren't they to go? Hold up. There's other ways out of this. But no, I did dig that as far as that escape. I figured something along those lines of escape that would happen just because, and then then they're not gonna let the story in there, and then not Data. I forgot the Vulcan's name already. Communing with the prophets and made the prophets rage quit. He made the prophets rage quit.
Pretty much.
That was funny. It's like you do realize you gave powerful weapons of destruction to children. We didn't give it to them, but you did. We and then just immediately in transmission, I'm like, yep, it's a rage quit. Count it as it is. But for them to get out of that, and then I guess at the end of the issue where Worf is screaming, "We need to hurry up and meet." I think we're getting to that point of where they're going to meet up with the Red Path and Kalis.
Yeah, the next issue is Day of the Blood #1.
Yeah, so it is getting to that. It is getting to that that eventual conclusion. But I will say this run with Cisco being brought back, and the fact that it's very, very DS9 like is the reason why I like the story. It is very DS9 like. I do dig it.
And we have our own DS9 book.
Yeah. I did like that issue. So I'm looking forward to see what happens next, considering the fact that they now have the orb and now Cisco's questioning everything because he was so gung-ho about following the prophets. He's like, now he's questioning it. I'm like, and we're right back to the point to where he fell out of favor again as the emissary. Cool. I was like, that was the best writing to me. That was the best writing in DS9. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
Oh yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed this issue. It's just so much fun. I can't wait for this big shebang. Mostly because we will get to see Shanks meet Worf.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. If there was ever going to be a bro fist moment, it will be there.
Oh yeah. Moving on over into Marvel, we have Scarlet Witch #6. This is written by Steve Orlando with art by Lorenzo Tometa and Sarah Pacelli. Colors by Frank William and letters by Joe Sabino. This was a fun issue for me. I really am enjoying the Scarlet Witch series. This one takes a look at a sect of Kree women monks that were taken advantage of several ages ago. I'll just go with ages. And what's retribution against the current emperor because of the atrocities in the past? Well, that's a problem for Wanda, considering that's her new son-in-law.
Yeah.
So she and the warrior monk goes and talks to Teddy and gets to see Wanda gets to see one of her sons. And then we learn, by the way, all of these were committed by blood scrolls.
Exactly.
So let's talk to the blood scrolls. And by talk, we mean murder the blood scrolls.
Mm-hmm.
Fun issue in the long run. I don't want to spoil too much because there's a big surprise ending. I really do think it's Joseph. I don't think it's Eric / Max. I think we're dealing with a clone here. Someone put Jean in a safe space because last time Joe was out and about, that didn't end well for her. Anyways, good issue. It's nice seeing keeping up with Wiccan and Teddy from Young Avengers.
Yeah.
Where they are now. It's always wonderful to see Wanda getting to be with her kids. Because you just forget how much of a mom she loves to be.
Yeah.
Especially when they get to have those super fun times. Like, by the way, Mom, here's a sword. Go have fun.
Pretty much. That was interesting. It's like, oh, and then he's like, well, especially in the throne at the beginning when he's going over the tiles, first let me say, hi, Mom. Then he's like, let me get these tiles out of the way. Then it's like, oh, hi, Mom. It's like,
hi, Wiccan, wizard consort, and da-da-da-da-da. Also, hi, Mom.
Right.
Also, I noticed that Darcy no longer looks like Kat Dennings in this issue.
You know, you just pointed that out. Now that I think about it, you're right. She doesn't look this. She doesn't.
I wonder what's up with that. I wonder if it's just a big thing of the artist like, yeah, we're focusing everything on the art over here. We can't exactly do Kat Dennings every issue.
But you should. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, you really should. No, like I said, fun issue. Looking forward to the next one. At some point, I think this is going to trail back into Contest of Chaos, which is what the last annual issue alluded to.
Yeah.
But I guarantee this book is going to be the front runner to that Contest of Chaos.
Probably.
Moving on over, we have Immortal X-Men #13. This is written by Kieran Gillen. Art by Lucas Wernick, colors by David Crow, and everything falls apart and everything is terrible.
Man, just I mean, I will give it this. It was the whole issue was literally surrounding again the fallout from the Sons of Sinister, falling out that now Earth knows about what happened. The Quiet Council, for the most part, is still under wraps. They were still trying to figure out how can we prove that we're not compromised. And you have I can't remember his name already, but the fact that he wanted to just eradicate old girl,
Exodus.
Thank you. Exodus wanted to go ahead and take her out the frame. It's like, we could just end you right now, and that would solve our problems because we can't trust you or Sebastian. And Storm defends her. That's the crazy part. Storm defends her, and then decides to. Well, she has a track record of just shaming individuals. Vulcan is one, and now Exodus can join that party. So
I don't think she shamed Exodus. I think Exodus just to the point. It's like, why in God's name are you defending this trash when we know we invited the snake into the Garden of Eden, and they're still here?
Exactly, but it was interesting that Professor X and Cypher, which is really interesting. Professor X.
Oh God, I love Doug. Doug just like, by the way, there are things you should know, Charles. The only one in the pit is Sinister. Sabretooth got out a while ago because of some stuff.
That was how do you deliver bad news right after bad news? He's like, hey, so I know you're trying to figure out a way to save us all, but the pit is more like a Walmart now because who you think is in there is not in there. But who you think is in there is still in there, but not the person
who
you think
you
was
in there is not in there.
Right. So I was like, how do you just show up and deliver bad news? And then it's like, Professor X, it's bad when he takes the helmet off and goes, okay, our plan isn't working. So we're going to disband the Quiet Council. When are you doing it? At the next Hellfire Gala. Is this a good idea? There's no, and it's kind of funny that you repeat themselves. Well, we don't really have to do this because we just have to prove there's no way you can prove it. They finally said it. There's no way you can prove that you're compromised or not compromised. There's no way you can prove it. So we remove ourselves from the equation. We disband the Quiet Council. And then Krakoa decides to
we will actually say what it does. He's saving Doug.
Yeah. The planet decides to save Doug in the most creepiest way ever. And it's funny because they're trying to communicate, because Doug was the only way they could communicate with Krakoa. And with him gone, it's like everything.
So long as she's in range of Doug, but
yeah,
it only takes Doug so deep into itself. She's like, fuck.
Yeah, she lost him. So I thought that was interesting that, dang, so out of all this, so the next Hellfire Gala, the Quiet Council will disband. You literally, the one person that can help you communicate with the planet is underground, literally and figuratively. At the same time, you still have a bunch of mutants that are ready to off each other. That's how you end an issue.
This was so good. This is how you know things are going south.
Yeah. Right leading up to the fall of X. If they're trying to lead up to the fall of X, they are doing it right.
I think this is the last Immortal X-Men issue before Hellfire Gala.
Okay, so yeah, then that'll be the disband then, which I think all hell will break loose, but that's just my guess.
Which to me, I love what they did with Emma because they made Emma probably deal with the worst scenario she possibly could imagine. She has no parents of children resurrected. Well, we think that they're free of Sinister's influence, or we're never. It's like, what do you mean think?
Right.
So, like, Emma is having to deal with parents, which she's done before because this is the big thing. But The sad thing is with Emma is every time she's had to deal with parents, it's usually to deliver terrible, terrible news.
It's bad when Emma is the voice of reason.
Oh no, I don't agree with that because Emma, ever since Generation X, has been on the up and up with wanting to establish school and betterment for these children. It's just the fact that anytime she does deal with family, extended family, the children, it's always bad and often either dealing with a coffin or something catastrophic. It's not that her judgment's bad anymore. It's just that she has to continuously deal out the bad news.
Yeah, she's the unfortunate bearer of bad news. I can live with that.
Although there is that one time she, like, during the first Civil War where Carol's like, hey, do you want to join? And Carol's like, by the way, Carol, where were you in the Avengers when we were attacked?
Go.
It's like, here's the funeral for all the children that didn't survive. By the way, you're in a coffin now with one of these dead kids.
Good.
So,
awkward.
Next time you want our help, remember you need to help us.
Pretty much. But it was a good issue, though. That was just the fact of how far it was, how far south it went. It just kept getting worse and worse.
It got to the point where Exodus couldn't even speak anymore from how anguished he was.
Yeah.
Hope it's like, you left me to die on a planet repeatedly, but I'm still going to help you out of here because this is how effed everything is.
Pretty much. But no, it was a good issue though. Like I said, the next one before Hellfire Gala, that's gonna be the potential one. But go ahead.
Final issue of the night, Fallen Friend, The Death of Miss Marvel. This is written by G. Willow Wilson, Mark Waid, and Saladin Ahmed with art by Takeshi Miyazawa, Humberto Ramos, and Andrea DeVito, with ink by Victor Alazaba in Chapter 2, colors by Ian Herring and Edgar Delgado. So this is broken down into 3 chapters. This first chapter is dealing with the original Miss Marvel crew, meaning Wolverine, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel's family, and direct friends.
Yep.
That was written by G. Willow Wilson, who wrote that one. Chapter 2 is where all the champions come in, written by Mark Waid. Chapter 3 was the last person to write Miss Marvel, so everybody shows up at that point.
Yeah.
I will say this outright. I am not one to be easily manipulated emotionally by media. I will be stone-faced all throughout Grave of the Fireflies and Barefoot Again. I do not cry easily at these things. This made me feel grief, which is not unsettling, but unusual for me.
Oh, let's pull it down.
Because this felt like attending an actual funeral.
Mm-hmm.
You have friends there to grieving. You have Wolverine coming in full funeral garb for this, talking perfect. Salim talking to her parents. You have Carol coming in. Then the next chapter, you have the champions coming in, dealing with all their feelings, most notably everybody pretty much
at
Amadeus Cho, saying how much of a jerk he was, but then also Viv, who, much like Vulcans, have the ability to turn her feelings on and off.
Yeah.
And decides that she needs to feel for what it feels like to grieve for a loss of a family member. But she, in doing so, all the grief of losing her mother and brother and whatnot, and then Hulkling just being an idiot.
Yeah.
Through and through. And then the third chapter with Saladin Ahmed, I think, is what got me the most, because that's when everybody comes. Steve comes, delivers a eulogy. Carol speaks for a little bit.
Yep.
Iron Man comes for a little bit. Steven comes for a little bit. And they all lament that she was probably one of the brightest spots in their careers.
Yeah.
Up to that point, and how much she meant to the community as a whole. Like, she was the beating heart of the hero community that would tell us when we stepped out of line.
I did love Captain America. Just came in. He's like, I just want to say a few words. Nope. You got the immediately the guy turns around. Captain America has a few words. Listen up. If that's not a respect level, like Cap came in as like, I'm not trying to disrespect it. I just want to say a few words, if you don't mind. Immediate floor. And of course, him and Tony having a conversation was always interesting. He's just like Tony always, Tony, as far as the story goes, kind of reminds me how Tony was in Endgame. It's like when he lost Peter.
Yeah.
And that whole, I lost the kid. That whole thing of losing him, and you can see Tony going through the same thing. And then to actually see Peter show up and try to figure out
one of the wrecking crew tries to rob a car out in front of the mosque.
Yeah.
It's just like, who's gonna? I'm just gonna turn myself in right.
When you see that many people, and you see the guy come up and say, "We're trying to actually do a ceremony, so if you be so kind."
When the chief just like flat out politely asks, and it's like, "We're trying to hold a funeral. Would you please?" He's like, "I'm gonna go turn myself in now."
I mean, you see that many heroes right behind him, and I don't know why Spider-Man. I don't know why Miles Morales just looked at the ready with his fist drawn, like he was at the readiness for something to go down. Wolverine is like, okay, I'm just gonna give you one hand with claws. But everybody at the point was ready. But he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go turn myself in. But no, that's the reason why for a lot of people it's like, oh, they're gonna kill off Miss Marvel. They're not. They really are not, because outside of what we already talked about, what was gonna happen, heroes get killed multiple times in comics. Nobody ever stays dead.
Oh yeah. Let's look at Ben Reilly. That man's been killed 28 times in a row.
Pretty much. But no, this one between Fallen Friend, like you said, it did read more like a funeral. You couldn't help it, because to me, I got those James Gunn Guardians Volume 3 vibes where they just went for the gut punch. But
I think what made this more impactful, if anything, is we all know she's coming back. Like, that was never a question.
Yeah.
But when a superhero dies, you get like an issue of like the team or like one person. You don't have a whole book devoted to the funeral.
Right.
Like, I honest to God don't think I've ever read, outside of Superman, I don't think we've had a funeral book, a book devoted solely to the funeral.
Yeah. That was the only one I could think of, the Death of Superman, where there was one issue that was dedicated to the funeral. So yeah, that's about right. But it's just the whole idea of just how they did this. Again, was very well done, very well holding up the Muslim side of things. For a lot of people, they actually translated it, which I thought was pretty cool, because again, I learned something. I mean, I don't know everything, but I learned something of how they honor their fallen, or honor their remembrance those in that tradition, in that religion. So I thought that was pretty cool that they kept it accurate. And of course, with the garb, I was like, it was great. So again, I know it's kind of a spoiler, because we did talk about the fact that she will be reborn as a mutant. But overall, Fallen Friend was a good issue.
I also like that Wolverine just like, so where did you learn read the Quran? I picked a few things up in Madripoor.
Where?
It's like, where? Don't worry about that right now.
That part was funny when he said, wait, where? Don't worry about it. But
yeah,
no,
this is definitely book of the week. Very few times will I actually like have an emotion, like strong emotion to something like that. That's very rare.
Yeah, you can't look. Like I said, I thought Guardians Volume 3 would have me tear up. That one had a gut punch feeling, which again is really hard to do when it comes to death of superheroes, especially when you're doing a whole entire issue surrounding their funeral. But that was very well done.
Yes.
But thank you, Joe, for that, for those comic book pulls, sir. And as always, we do want to show love to Rick's Comic Book City, Nashville's #1 go-to place for comic books. If you are in the Middle Tennessee area, definitely check them out at either of their two locations. One in Lebanon Pike, especially as you see right there in Nashville, Tennessee. The other one can be found in Clarksville. Also check out Locker Nerd, which is actually at Fort Campbell, which is one of their other stores as well. But again, they are the go-to place for comics, for multimedia, for manga, for toys, for collectibles, for free comic book day, things of that nature. So definitely check them out if you're in the Nashville area. Let them know we sent you. This doesn't get you any discounts or anything, but just let them know we sent you because they show love to us. We want to show love back to them. If you are not in the Nashville, Tennessee area, please support your local comic book stores, support your local libraries. As you can tell now, as we talked about tonight, we're about to hit the desert. So the last places to actually get certain things will be your local library, or local libraries, local comic book stores. So definitely support them. They are the last bastions for where you can actually get things outside of Amazon. But trust me, with UPS about to strike, you don't want to chance anything coming at this rate outside of you going to go pick it up yourself. So again, if you are in the Middle Tennessee area, support Rick's Comic Book City. If you're not in the Middle Tennessee area, support your local comic book stores and local libraries. But as we wrap this up, Sir Joe, anything you want to let people know what you're doing?
I'm still fighting away at Street Fighter. You actually got to see me for a bit.
Yeah, I got to see it. I was like, when I get my PS5, I'm practicing. I
do okay in Street Fighter.
No, you did great. I'm talking about me. I haven't played Street Fighter since 5, and that was
6 is a whole different ballgame.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I need to practice heavily before I even go online. But yes, I did watch Joe's Twitch stream, and Joe Italian last name, and he got some wins. Even though one dude kind of did him dirty and was kind of trying to go for the counter grab, but I saw that.
No, that's okay. Everything is learning for me. Everything is learning.
I was gonna say that one dude was trying to go dirty and grab you when he got to the corner. Though I sat there and saw like he's just gonna goad you because he couldn't counter you. Every time he tried to come up, you basically dash countered. So he waits till he got you in the corner and then tried to go for the grab. And he tried to cheese his way out of that way. But that's what I saw.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That just teaches me what I need to do, and I need to be better at teching throws. No, Street Fighter 6 still well, I'm still shooting for diamond or platinum. Not sure which of the Pokemons I'm going for, but I'll get out of gold eventually. I'm at gold 3. Mm-hmm. It's just a learning experience right now. Like there's still things I got to improve on. There's still things I got to keep myself from doing. I got to stop tossing out drive impacts raw. That doesn't do me any good, especially with Manon, who I am maining at the moment.
Yeah.
We'll continue to. Got to not drop combos and whatnot. I don't have any animosity. Unlike most of the community, I have no animosity if you are a modern user or a classic user.
So many videos on that, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's a very big contention thing because that's the new fight pad versus fight stick versus controller mentality. That's just all this is. I don't care which way you do it. I mean, some people can do those moves, some people can't.
Yeah.
A 360 power driver is still a hard thing to do. Charging is still a hard thing to do. But if you can do Guile competently on modern controls, I'll still fight you.
True.
I'll still want the run back, but
But as an outsider looking on the outside, and I'm like, okay, so modern controls means that they can do, for all those that don't know or may not understand what we mean by that is that some controls can be done. They used to be for the veterans like me and Joe and many others of our age. We're used to certain directions involving buttons to where we can do certain special moves or super or ultra moves. What they mean by modern now is that one button will accomplish that.
Yeah.
So some individuals, especially if you've been on social media, may have some gripes. I'll go out that way. But no, it's one of those things where to me, I want to try classic just because that's where my bread and butter was from. That's where I got my defensive and offensive skills from. So I may give that a try, but we'll also make this clear too. It's all how you play the game. If you enjoy the game, whether it's classic, whether it's modern, you shouldn't be judged for it. Again, it's a video game. Some of us play games on easy mode because we just want to enjoy it. No shame in that.
I mean, modern. The trade-off for modern on having one button specials is you deal 20% less damage consistently throughout the thing. So I mean, that's your handicap on. Oh, I get to do chargeless sonic booms and flash kicks. Okay, well, that's going to do 20% less damage. So you got to figure out how to get that one extra flash kick in there to get the round.
And at the same time, makes you a better player. Makes you a better player it makes you a better player when you have a handicap. So I can't knock that.
The one point I do have with modern controls is it's impossible for them to drop a combo. That's about it.
So they have to find a different way of doing it.
No. So all you do is hold the assist button, and then you do repeated lights, repeated mediums, and repeated heavies, and it gives them a full combo. So it's impossible for them to drop a combo.
Oh, okay. So that makes sense.
But again, that lets them be equal and like get damage because one full combo for them does not deal the same amount of damage of one full combo to me. I can do a 3-hit Manon combo, carry you to the corner, and then still throw you.
Gotcha.
And then when you get back up, special throw you for an insane amount of damage because I'm Manon and I got 5 medals.
Yeah, but that one hit a quitter though. That still looked nasty when it was hit. I'm sorry, I was thinking about that match where you pulled one move, and I'm like, that one shot took them.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. No, the one where I did the standing medium kick, drive cancel into special into command grab.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
where it took off 90% of their bar, but. Again, if you want to see Joe, again, that's on Joe's Twitch channel. Joe will tell you the last name because I watched it because I was taking notes, so I know what to look forward to. But aside from that, sir, what else you got going on?
I mean, I'll be at. I will not be at a KaiCon. I will be at the Clarksville Comic and Anime Convention this weekend with the Ghostbusters. And then just various con stuff as con season is still going.
Mm-hmm.
Wear your deodorant. Wear a mask if you feel like you need to. I'll be in a mask sometimes. Remember, if our butt's down, no photos. Just treat each other well. Don't shop until Sunday.
Right, that's the big thing. Which
Brooklyn, all good things.
Yeah, but that's the thing. But that's the thing I was going to talk about too. But yes, you would definitely catch Joe. Of course, like I said, his Twitch channel, I enjoy tell you the last name. His YouTube page, Total Justice Gaming. Definitely like, share, and follow him. And if you're like me, you're going to follow him, especially on the Street Fighter channel streams, because once your boy gets a PS5 and once I get Street Fighter 6, I am definitely going to be trained like I'm trying to play in an Evo tournament.
Apparently, my chat got like a badge because I participated unknowingly in Street Fighter Week on Twitch or something.
Nice.
I got alerted to it. It's like, what in God's name are you talking about?
I mean, badge means notification. Nothing wrong with that. I'm like, look, the fact that you're at a high level, I'm gonna have a nice old time trying to get myself up there. But anyway, of course, I go by Black Spartan, but also Black Box 447 on the socials, guys. I usually do reviews on everything that I read, that I play, that also I watch, especially when I do gym stuff, just because I do believe in having a couple push-ups. As we said at the beginning of this podcast, guys, the link that you see below, you can definitely copy and paste that link into your browser. Take your link tree. That's the YouTube, Facebook groups for all of our podcasts. You can like, share from there. As Joe has said at the beginning, which we'll reiterate, you can find us on Google Podcasts. You can find us on Stitch. You can find us on Stitch for the time being. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us mostly everywhere everywhere except Apple Podcasts, because we wait for them to cut the check.
I'm not paying $10 a month just to put an episode on.
Oh no, we wait for them to pay us. We're not paying anything. They're going to pay us. That's I'm putting that out there. But you can find us anywhere except Apple Podcasts, guys, to where streams can be heard or seen. That includes Opulence Radio and Always Press Record TV, where you can see our handsome faces. Again, guys, we do want to know everything that we discussed. Everything we discussed tonight, we want to know your opinions on, just because we want to keep the conversation going. I know we kind of put a damper on things just because of the current situation that's going on with the strikes right now. But we wouldn't be ourselves if we didn't talk about the ramifications of that one single event, the nexus event, if you will, that is affecting everything else. We didn't want to put a damper on it. We tried to do our best to explain and be hype. about things that are coming out. But again, we still had to address the elephant in the room. So we didn't want to be a Debbie Downer, but we got to be realistic as well. Aside from that, guys, again, as we talk about the con rules, it is con season. I'm very excited because I will be at a KaiCon. But the reason why I'm excited is because my son, who was just born a little over 4 months ago, will be going to his first con. I am happily ecstatic to see the look on his face. I know a lot of people, you're taking a 4-month-old. It's a proud moment for me because I want to see his reaction. I want to see his reaction, my other son's reaction as they're going to cons. Although my older son has been to cons, he loves it. He's enjoying it. It's just nice to get the next generation there to actually get to see it. So I'm having a proud dad moment right now. Sue me.
So what is he cosplaying as? Are you going to dress him up as like a little T-sphere?
He more than likely will be going in his Batman outfit because I have an idea. I just have to wait to get it. I have an idea of what I want him to wear when he's walking. I just have to wait.
You just need to make him like a little T-sphere costume.
I thought about that, but I want to see. Like I said, this is me because I still want him to make those choices. Like I have found the Pokemon squishies, the Digimon squishies. I have found. I had found toy lightsabers to see which way he'll go.
Promise me you won't make him Duke or Wallace.
Huh?
Just promise me you won't make him Duke or Wallace.
No, I'm not gonna do that. But there's some things I want to do when he's mobile. But yes, as we talk about the con, guys, as Joe has already said, but we're gonna reiterate this as we're wrapping this up. Number one, respect cosplayers. Joe is a cosplayer. We have plenty of friends that are cosplayers. 9 times out of 10, cosplayers are the nicest people you can ever meet. That being said, they are still human beings, which means that they need to be treated with the utmost respect, kindness, and not to be gawked at, insulted, or think that because they're dressed up like your favorite person or fandom or genre, that they are there for your amusement or your belligerent or your pleasure. Again, respect them. 9 times out of 10, if you treat them with respect, you will get respect back. If you want a picture, and if they don't look like they're not active, what I mean by that is if they're sitting down, if they're taking a break, if they're eating food, if they're drinking water, if they're not engaging with people, then don't engage with them just out of kindness and respect. But again, if you see them walking around and they're talking to people, they're enjoying themselves, politely go up to them. First and foremost, compliment them. Complimenting gets you a lot farther than just saying, "Hey man, can I get a picture?" Trust me, treat them decently, you will be treated back decently. However, if a guy like me sees that you're disrespecting a cosplayer, you don't want to see what happens next. So, first and foremost, respect cosplayers. Number 2, as Joe said, deodorant, soap, mouthwash, toothpaste, all things that can be found in the airplane slash dollar bin of your local store. What I mean by that is, guys, you could be at a con where the walkway is about as wide as a football field, or it could be just as condensed as a subway train in New York. Again, hygiene is everything, guys. Nobody wants to be around someone who is afraid of water, who hasn't bathed, who hasn't brushed their teeth, used mouthwash. Again, hygiene is everything, especially because we just now got out of emergency conditions. We're not in we're still in a heavy, we should be worried about situation. It's just not emergency measures anymore. Again, wash your ass, use toothbrush, use mouthwash. And like Joe said, if you want to wear a mask, you're not going to get shamed for it. You shouldn't be shamed for it. It is your choice to do so to protect yourself. So if you want to wear a mask, you are more than right to do so. And the last thing I got to say is, like Joe said, and we're saying this because me and him have spent money on vendors at cons. We love doing it because 9 times out of 10, the majority of our stuff comes from cons. So I say this with all the love in the world, and Joe will agree with me on this. If you want something at a reduced price, if you will, let me explain something to you about vendors. Vendors that go to these cons will bring buku stuff to offload at these cons. What they don't want to do is bring it back home. So guess what they'll do? You might get lucky and get a reduced item off if you just simply wait. I'm not saying it's 100% guaranteed, but for a lot of vendors who look at the fact that they have to lug stuff into these cons, set things up, get things nice, and I'm talking truckloads. This is like if you're moving a house. A lot of those guys, a lot of those individuals will definitely give you a reduced price on something if it means they ain't got to take it back. But again, that's not for everybody, but just for the conscious buyer. Be smart, shop as smart. And I can't believe I said that. But with that being said, guys, we will definitely be back here. Hopefully next Friday, same Get Bit time, same Get Bit channel. Unless something changes. If not,
I'll be at the Barbie thing.
Oh, you're gonna be at the. Ooh,
Are you at the family reunion thing next week?
Saturday. I'm gonna be going out Saturday, so we'll either there will be an episode or there'll be a repeat from the vault. We'll figure that out as it goes along. But again, guys, please be safe out there. Again, with the summer heat, because especially if you're like us and we're in the South, please hydrate. Please make sure you have plenty of cover. Please make sure that you're not out in the sun getting heat strokes or sunstrokes. We don't want that for anybody. So definitely be aware of that. Besides that, Joey, last words, sir, before we call it a night?
I have a Boppet sword.
That being
Actually,
said,
yes, I do have news that just popped up.
Go for it.
Legendary Pictures, the Godzilla people,
Yeah,
just pulled out of San Diego Comic-Con as well as of an hour ago.
So can we say that Comic-Con is now a ghost town?
No, Comic-Con's just now Comic-Con circa 1980, 1990.
Unknown.
No,
Well,
full of costuming nerds, but with no celebrity fan status whatsoever.
I wonder how that's going to be such a weird off, because Comic-Con used to, well, not to go off into another tangent, but Comic-Con used to be such a thing, and now it's without fanfare, I guess you can call it. But anyway.
Well, San Diego just turned into a mainstream media preview show.
It did, and for the while it did take a while, but either way, it'll be.
On the bright side, it will no longer take 5 hours to get into Hall H.
That is also true. Maybe the conflu got better, from what I've been told.
I highly doubt it.
Guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. He's been Joe. I've been Will. This has been the Give It Podcast for tonight, guys. We do thank you all for watching. Again, take care of yourselves and each other, and we're gonna get through this desert. Peace.
Supporting the writers and actors.